But we're nearing chances to wake the day. They're calling you over, the methods are bolder. We're lost in the time now, reminding ourselves how we were always once for the breakaway. But we're nearing chances to wake the day. As I wake up every morning, I wish the day would end. Because a day without you in my life, I don't know how to mend. And I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. Come on, let's rewind till I smile. That look upon your face. My heart is empty and unguided. I'm blind leading chase. Thought I had a plan with you and me. Was the villain of my own dream, breaking me down to my knees. I look right at the mirror, wondering if I'll be okay. My head is telling me nothing, it's got nothing left to say. And I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. I was like, oh, 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 oh. You were like, no, oh, no, oh. Come on, let's rewind till I smile. That look upon your face. My heart is empty and unguided. I'm blind leading chase. Thought I had a plan with you and me. Was the villain of my own dream, breaking me down to my knees.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the grand finals of the Oceanic Challenger Series Split 1. We've had 7 grueling weeks, but here we are, Chiefs Black taking on Abyss Red. My name is Max Rogi for Foglia. Joining me in the desk is Jimmy Preacher Fu, and we're just ecstatic about these coming games.
I cannot wait to get into these games because these two teams, I love to watch this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've had such a nice split so far. Both of them have had really good runs coming into this, and I just love to see how they take it out for the grand final because Chiefs Black, they've been mostly dominant throughout this whole split. They've won every single game except for one, and that one is to their rivals this tonight in our best of 5. It is against Abyss Red, and I just can't wait to see how they pull it out because last time it didn't really work out in their favor.
Yeah, they went off to a shaky start in that game where Abyss Red took the better of them, despite we saw Omni constantly getting Zed banned away, but in that game, Red just gave it over to him, but they didn't make anything come from it. We've seen Red, they kind of fall into a little bit of a trap where all the teams going into the game should know that they're going to be banning away Kalista and Lucian because Squidgy, we've only seen him on the Tristana and Jhin so far, so maybe Chiefs Black have a little bit of wiggle room there to work with.
They definitely will, because these two bans are going to be absolutely essential. If you take a look over the side of Chiefs Black, Zero, he plays both of these champions. In fact, he loves to pick both of these whenever they're available. He nearly outpicked all of these, just with a couple of exceptions throughout the season, but otherwise he is no shy of these two amazing picks. And if they have to ban those away, then it's going to be two essential bans that they won't have for other important champions.
Well, while we're on the topic of bans, keep in mind, guys, because this is pretty serious, both teams have lost all their bans for game number 1 due to some last-minute roster swaps. So going into this game, teams potentially could be crafting that perfect composition. They've essentially gone into the candy store and opened up every single shelf and say, hey guys, take whichever piece of candy or champion that you want. So I'm expecting to see some really crazy things coming out of both these squads tonight.
I'd love to see Pablo just reach up to the top shelf and say, yeah, I love my Poppy special. And then you take a look at Zero. He says, I want my Kalista.
Yep.
Yeah, you take a look over on the other side, Luch with his Victor, with his amazing Victor out farming everyone in the mid lane. I just want to see all of them craft their perfect pick, like you said.
Yeah, so we're going to be bringing up the lineups here just so we can go over them once more. We see on the side of Chiefs Black, they've got Praetor, Zahi, Omni, Zero, and Rosie. Then on the side, Abyss Red, wearing that red colors. Finally, we got Pabu, General Luch, Squidgy, and Gate Gators, who will be the substitute support for them tonight.
Yeah, I just love to see these two teams go at it, because if you take a look at these matchups one by one, they've all performed their best throughout the entire split.
Yep.
Praetor cannot be understated with his split pushing potential on Lissandra and Fiora, drawing so many bans onto Lissandra, going into Pabu, who's done so well in the 1v1 matchup in the top lane, especially with Poppy we've seen in the recent times. Yeah, he's just wants to take that. Going all the way down the list, Zahi General, they're both actually quite slow junglers, because they actually want to establish a lot of dominance in the jungle and a lot of vision early for their laners to make sure that they don't get ganked, to make sure that they get out of those tricky situations. Omni, Luch, I mean, these two mid laners, they're absolutely insane, aren't they? You got Luch there, who just wants to farm up a storm in that mid lane, whereas Omni, he likes to go for the 1v1s, which is why we've seen Zed ban more than once against Chiefs Black.
Yeah, well, you mentioned how strong Luch is on those farming S champions. Only answered on the Chiefs Black side by Praetor. Both of them, you said at 10 minutes, having about a 19 plus CS differential over their opposing laners. So really look for these guys to eke out any small advantages just purely through CS rather than those individual kills.
Well, that's exactly what they go for. You see, Praetor, he gets that advantage mainly through split pushing, because Chiefs Black, they like to play the map objective. When they got the strong 1v1 and 2v2, they just take the standard lanes. But when they don't, they'll just take the other lanes and take their turrets. On the other side, though, Luch, he just stays in his mid lane all day long, and he somehow always manages to come out on top, if not in kills, then at the very least in CS every game.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to miss them. The minions just fall over, empty their pockets to the school bully that is Luch, and just give over the gold. Here you go, Luch, our Lord and Savior. Please take our gold, spare our lives. But both of these teams, they've been playing phenomenally throughout the first split of the OCS. Both of them having such amazing kind of scores here. You've got Chiefs 6-1, only dropping one game to Red, and then Red on the other side 5-2, if my memory is correct. So this is basically a powder keg waiting to explode, and Gameplank's just waiting there with the pistol ready to shoot it.
You definitely hit the nail on the head, because this matchup is absolutely insane. Abyss Red, they've been known as this team that really take it by momentum. When they win more. But when they go off on the start of a loss, then it's really shaky for them, and they can't really find their back foot. It's really hard to come back for this team, but last time they faced off, they won. So that may be the momentum that they need to take out the first game, which may start the snowball rolling.
You got to think how important it is for the team's mentality going into this game, knowing that they've already bested Chiefs Black once, because Chiefs Black, they're definitely the juggernaut of this entire competition. Going up against them is no small feat, but just knowing that you have what it takes to be able to take down the best of the best, coming into this grand finals, a best of 5, mind you. I'm really excited to see how Abyss Red can adapt. We know they're good at the best of ones. We know how predictable their pick and ban phase can be. So maybe Chiefs with a little bit more experience in multi-champion pulled players here can get a small advantage in this pick and ban phase.
And I think you also said the correct word, which is what we're going to be watching out for all day today, which is adaptation.
Yep.
Because these two teams, they need to adapt and overcome if they want to pull out victories. The first game is more or less going to be standard. They know each other. They know what they like to play.
No
but
bans.
they don't. But no bans. So they get their ultimate champions. You finally get to see maybe Omni on his Z just running around, death marking everybody and popping all of them. But in the second game and from there onwards, there will be bans. So hopefully they can target them out and they can get all of those strong champions off the board, because the first one, it's really just a dream scenario for both of them. But after that, they have to play really tactically and see if they can ban out the pro strats that the other ones have been practicing all week long.
It feels like a throwback to the LCK best of fives, where that game 5 would be the blind pick. 2 Shens WTF, so no bans coming into this first game. I'm really excited to see whether or not, because we know that Pabu, he's quite good on this Poppy. We mentioned in our Candy Store reference that he'll be going straight for that top shelf champion. Will the likes of Praedyth potentially be taking it away, because we've seen him kind of lean more to the Fiora in that top lane?
Well, this is the deal with not having any bans. You can't take it away from the enemy, but what you can do is you can pick it yourself, and that denies your enemy from getting it, because the one downside to having draft phase as opposed to blind pick that we saw in Korea, like you referenced, is the fact that you can just deny picks. You can't have 2 of every champion. You can only have 1, which means that if Praedyth decides to take it off, even if Rosie just wants to first pick the Poppy and then rotate it down to the bot lane, because she's still a fine support. She's not quite that strong anymore, but she's still fine. She still works just as well. Then that takes it off of Pabu's hands, and then he needs to pick another champion to fill that void.
Yeah, having no bans makes these picks extra important. So the first pick you mentioned could be anything. We're probably going to see the Poppy, I imagine, because they know how strong Pabu is. But then Abyss Red, they get to answer with 2 picks of their own, and with no bans, that is just so important. They could potentially get a Kog'Maw and a Lulu free of charge with nothing the other team can prevent from doing that. So as important as first pick is, I kind of give the advantage to Red in this scenario.
And I quite like how you mentioned that duo of Kog'Maw and Lulu, because not only are they still super strong this patch, but also Lulu counters Poppy really hard on the top lane. So I'd love to see that happen, but no. Not a Poppy ban.
No, straight away, looks like the Corki will be the first thing picked up on the side of Chiefs Black, and then Red, they're going to answer with the Poppy that we assumed going straight to Pabu and that Alistar down there for Gay Gators.
That's really strange, having a Poppy first pick, because generally, in the past, Chiefs Black have always left the last pick to Omni. They always have. They've never given him anything. They haven't given him anything first, and they haven't given him anything second. They've always left him last. So if this is a Corki mid, that's really strange, because it means that you deny that counter pick for your own mid laner. On the other hand, though, it could be for Zero, but we haven't seen him play Corki just yet.
Yeah, well, Chiefs Black, I'm sure they're full of surprises here. They've definitely had a lot of time to prep for this grand final. This is everything the team's been working so hard for, and you can't give them enough praise. 6-1 in the regular season, and then a 0-2 in the 2-0 in the playoff. These guys are meant to be top here, and we see straight away that is going to be a Corki mid, as looks like Zero's got himself the Lucian and Zahi has himself the Gragas.
And that's quite volatile, because what Chiefs Black say is, I know you guys are just going to pick a last pick Luch, because that's also what Abyss Red have been doing. They've just been last picking their mid laner, and for good reason. You just want to counter pick your lane if applicable. And in this scenario, in all of our games tonight, actually, Abyss Red will have that opportunity. So Chiefs Black just say, you know, they're going to counter pick it anyway. We're just going to pick it first and maybe secure us a really strong mid laner like Corki.
Yeah, so Red, they're going to be having 2 picks of their own coming up. Again, they have anything they can choose from. Luch, he's got the cream of the crop. Any single control mage, any single assassin, anything he wants that he thinks will fare up well against the Corki. They have a potential. Any of the junglers, only Gragas has been taken off. Any of the AD carries here, it is going to be Squidgy locking in the Jhin. The only 2 champions we have on record for him is Jhin and Tristana, and Jhin definitely the favorite of the 2 pick, and that's going to be a Nidalee jungle.
It definitely will be a Jhin, because he doesn't want to play the split push game. It's a little bit too hard, because while they do have the advantage over Chiefs Black, that's really all they have. And going into it, Lucian, Zero playing Lucian, that's not the slowest pusher. It's not going to be as fast as Tristana, but he's still going to get those turrets down if you decide to go for the standard 4-0 lane swap and turret take method. So it's not going to work out too well for them, and luckily for him, he picked up his Jhin, because Jhin is so strong right now, and he is so comfortable on Jhin.
Yeah, definitely in a great state right now. Chiefs Black, they're going to be rounding out their picks with their top laner and the support. We see Zero hovering over that Braum. Definitely one of the answers to Alistar, who without a doubt is the most dominant force in that support role at the moment, especially with Jin able to get the combo in, then Jin the double just comes out, and that's about 3 to 4 seconds of unavoidable CC essentially. So we see Chiefs Black, there it is, they've locked in the Braum and the Fiora.
And that Fiora is such a comfort pick for Praetors because we've seen him on Fiora time and time again. Generally, I would have liked to see him pick up something of the likes of Lissandra because he's also so strong on Lissandra, and the only one reason why he has more Fiora games than Lissandra games is because she's banned from him so many times, and he just performs so well in her. But having said that, the Fiora is going to be fine. And that is the last pick.
The Azir meta is well and truly back, and it looks like Luch, the king of control mages in the OCS, will be picking that one. And the Emperor of Shurima, the Emperor of the OCS, it seems only fitting that Luch will be donning those golden robes here. And something interesting to note, Jimmy, tell me, how many times have Abyss Red gone up against a Lucian this split?
They've gone up against him, I'm going to say, no times.
No bloody times here. They've banned him every single one of their pick and ban, so it's really going to be on the back of their bot lane how well they can adjust to something that they haven't really had that much practice playing against. Kalista and Jin were two of the foremost bans that they got through every single game, and now they're going to have to verse one of their nightmares, it seems.
And that's so weak because going into that, if you know that Squidgy doesn't play Lucian or Kalista, you should maybe sit him down and say, hey, you want to practice this a little bit? Because they are two
good.
They're pretty good coming into the OCS. They're pretty good in solo queue. They're pretty good in 5v5 competitive play. They're just, in general, really strong ADCs. So to not have that under your belt, now we're not going to say that Squidgy is a bad Lucian or Kalista player, but maybe he's not comfortable on it. Maybe they're not comfortable building team comps around those two those two AD carries. That's so detrimental because it takes so much off the board for your team. It takes so much potential off because you're not quite sure what you're going to pick. It really limits your opportunities with this Jin. They perform quite comfortably with the Jin pick, but I would just love to see them branch out a little bit more.
Like, it's definitely an interesting point to know that he doesn't play Kalista or Lucian, but to ban it away, like, I understand if your AD carry says, hey guys, listen, I'm not really comfortable playing these two champions. They're just not my playstyle. They're not really what I'm used to. I can appreciate that. Kalista, she's too hard for my likings as well, that crappy champion. And then, but to ban it away, to invest 2 of your 3 bans every single game into making sure that the opposing team doesn't get those 2, meaning that their team compositions, it might be the Achilles heel. So I wonder just how impactful this Lucian is going to be into the dismantling of Abyss Red's squad.
It might well be because they haven't played into Lucian this entire split, which may be so hard for them to do because Lucian, he's not like a standard AD carry. He doesn't just stand at the back and fire. He jumps all around the fight, and sometimes, if he needs be, he jumps right into the front line because he's mowing you guys down with the culling. And because you haven't played against him in a competitive game so far, it may just be your undoing because he is so strong. He plays differently from other AD carries. And yeah, if they cannot respond to this Lucian pick, then that may be a really bad signal for them because, like we were saying before, Abyss Red, they are a momentum-based team. They don't really succeed so well once they get set off on the back foot. They like to get the first game and to get it rolling. So if they lose this one because of the Lucian, that may be so detrimental.
Yeah, but Chiefs Black, they really threw a spanner in the works in their pick and ban phase here. They went for that first pick Corki to really kind of say what they want in the mid lane. We want a nice mix of physical, we want a nice mix of magic, and we want the poke. But Lucian's going to be answering with that Azir. And Azir, he's well and truly back. One of the most prominent mid laners, just so much control of the lane. Those Sand Soldiers can be such a pesky nuisance. But Corki, he's got the range, he's got the survivability to maybe deal with this pick. But I'm really interested to see just how strong Lucius Azir really is.
I'd love to see just how strong it is. He's played it 1 time in the tournament so far, and he performed quite well in it. But then again, Luch performs well in a lot of champions. All he likes to do is he likes to sit in the mid lane. He doesn't like to get outplayed. He calls General down to his side, so then they just get wards down all around the mid lane. He doesn't outplay the enemy necessarily, but he certainly does outfarm them by a long shot, and Azir does that with no problem at all. Corki, on the other hand, is a very long range AD carry. You put him into mid lane, it's a very long range mage with a lot of magic damage coming off of his auto attacks.
Yep.
That's so strong going into Azir because it means you can also keep up in the pace of farm because you got all of that pushing potential, you got all of that wave clear potential with your phosphorus bomb once you put a few points into it. Yeah, it's a nice matchup going into Azir. They didn't know it was Azir, but it goes well into a lot of champions.
Yeah, and then in the top lane, we have basically the two champions that they were born and raised on. We've got Pabu on Poppy. We have Praedyth on Fiora. I couldn't have pictured a better matchup for game number one. They're both flexing here, their strongest pick, so it's definitely going to be a skill matchup.
I'd love to see this top lane. I want to see the camera move over to it whenever there's a lull in the game because, like you said, Praedyth, he has about a 19 CS advantage on average over his laner, which means he likes to farm up a lot in the top lane. He just likes to get all that CS, all that money under his belt, so then he can get those large items and then take it to him in the mid game. Pabu, on the other hand, he doesn't like to wait for the mid game. That man's of no patience. He just likes to take it to him over and over and over again. Poppy into Fiora is a skill matchup, though. These two players on their favorite champions, that's also a skill matchup, so everything is skill in the top lane.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how these events unfold. We've kind of skimmed over the jungle just a little bit. These two junglers, they're definitely the backbone. Sure, not the flashiest players, not the top of the scoreboards, but Gragas and Nidalee, both of them are very formidable and very highly contested. Sure, the Gragas may inch out the Nidalee in a few regards, having received a few quality of life buffs very recently when Nidalee kind of went the other way with a few little bit of nerfs to kind of curve off her power spikes here and there. So, general, he's such a good jungler when it comes to supporting his mid laner. So it's going to be interesting to see how much their mid laners drag them to these lanes or if they're allowed to roam free.
I actually quite like both of these pickups because while we haven't seen them be the signature champions for either of the junglers, first of all, they're really strong for obvious reasons that I won't mention because we've seen them picked over and over again. Second of all, they play really well into their play pattern, which is you farm up a little bit early and then you actually go behind in your farm for the ability to ward up your lanes to make sure that they don't get ganked by the enemy. And Gragas, when you go into the early to mid game with Gragas, what you want to do is you want to start ganking as soon as you can and get your lanes ahead, get yourself ahead maybe even. Nidalee, on the other hand, if she's not invading the enemy jungle, which is one option that we've seen in the OCS done time and time again. The other option is she's just an assurance line and she says, okay, Gragas, you need to start ganking because if you don't, then I'm going to clear my jungle faster than you. And if your ganks fail, then I'm just going to start invading you because you're on the back foot.
Well, keep in mind that General's Raptor camps do belong to Luch coming into this game, so he's going to have one less camp potentially to farm because we know Luch, we know how he ekes out these CS leads. Those small Raptors don't take up too much of your time and they pad your stats really nicely, so expect him to be taking those when applicable, maybe even going over to that Wolf camp if he gets a little bit complacent in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, if he just gets bored, he might just wander around anywhere on the map. He just says, oh, you know this blue buff? Yeah, you're not on this side, but I'll just take it anyway because I'm impatient. I just want this buff for me right now so I can go back and farm some more. But yeah, I just love to see him play. I love to see him farm up. And hopefully, if we get what we want, if he gets what he wants, we'll see a lot of CS in the mid lane.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now finally into the game here. If we look across, we got Chiefs Black taking on Abyss Esports Red. Both of these guys have been playing their absolute hearts out, and here they are. All of their efforts culminated to this moment. Game one of the grand finals. And we see Zero just chilling the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, he's just chilling a little bit, but what I like about this start for both teams, I know it's only 1 minute, but we can already start analyzing the builds, is a very cheeky cull coming out of Omni's Corki right here. That is so cheeky because at the current moment, unless he's slipped a little bit, he is rated the #1 player in Challenger Oceania.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that is just so strong. So he's going into this mid lane. He says, Luch, look, buddy, I know that you out-CS a lot of people, but I know it's really just the small Raptors. They don't give much gold, and they just like to buff your stats, pad your stats, like you like to say, and he just picks up the cull because in the end, if he can survive this lane, which he should be able to do quite fine because Corki goes well into pretty much any champion, then he will get that cull max and then he'll get an early item.
It looks like we will be seeing a lane swap in effect here as Abyss Esports Red tried to go for a cheeky invade and made sure that the jungle and top lane of Chiefs Black couldn't clear their their blue side of the jungle here. So Gators and Squidgy doing a nice little job here, just making sure to keep basically corral Chiefs Black where they want them to go. So now lane swap is in full effect. We see Red just farming out their jungle. Poppy and Nidalee both have nice AoE to keep that in place. Luch already showing the dominance of Azir, as look how far back Omni has to sit.
And this is so painful for Omni because, like we said, the Cult, he just wants to farm up in this mid lane. Eventually, the wave will push to him, so there's not going to be too much of a problem. But going back into the jungle, this is so painful for Chiefs Black because going into a Nidalee and also a Poppy, that's just so much clear coming out of the jungle in the early levels. Compared to a Gragas and a Fiora, they're not going to have anywhere near the same sort of impact. They can't even go to their top side right now because if they decided to, and if they decided to meet in the top, then it's going to be so painful for them. And they actually read the lane swap incorrectly, so this means that Abyss Red, they're going to get the early push onto the first turret. Chiefs Black, though, they can't get the same amount of damage on the bot side fast enough.
Yeah, Chiefs Black are actually going to get 3 buffed here as we see General taking away the blue buff that the bot lane of Red so valiantly pushed off. So really good start coming out of Red, but can they keep the momentum going? The early game is looking very strong. We see Zahi, he isn't part of the push just yet, but neither is General. He's going to be taking what he can from his opponent's jungle. So both teams mirroring each other on either side of the map, just doing what they can to make sure these towers fall, give their teams that global gold and keep the lanes in their favor.
This is the major problem coming out from the misread lane swap. Sure, you can push down the turret just as fast as your enemy, but what you're going to do is you're going to have to lose a buff for it. Or you take your buff and then you don't push quite as hard. So they opted for the push and to lose. Not too much of a problem, but later on, because they don't have the timer on this could mean that General will just invade over and over again, and that blue buff could just be his, which is so painful for Omni because a Corki, he just loves to poke all day long. Yeah,
we see Pabu and Praedyth both in their respective lanes just doing what they can to catch back up in that gold that they've so dearly missed out on having the lane swap been in full effect. So now finally getting a little bit of time before the bot lanes do come back and claim that lane as their own. So pretty much standard lane swap shenanigans going on. Both teams getting that first tower, then rotating back around to make sure that their carries are getting the farm they need. But General, he's doing a great job of maintaining the advantage by continuously invading and taking away any camp he can from Zahi.
And that's exactly what he needs to do because Zahi's already been put on the back foot by getting 3 buffed. What do you do now? You recognize that Zahi hasn't, but Zahi, instead of getting buffs, is maybe going into the mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like something. Luch, he might be in a little bit of trouble. Gonna have to... He's got a good bit of distance between. General is also there, and Omni, he's very low. The spear comes through, gonna get blocked away. A lot of resources expended into keeping Luch on his heels.
And for Rosie there, because that gank didn't work out so well, sure, he blocked 1 spear, that's going to be a little bit painful for him because he just missed out on a lot of experience going out of the lane for that gank. It shouldn't be too bad though because he'll be able to catch it up pretty fast. Praedyth, on the other hand, he just wants to be a nuisance wherever he can, defending his own jungle for Zahi to take.
Yeah, so Zahi is going to be catching up a little bit in terms of that goal by getting himself some nice CS in the mid after Omni was relegated back to that base. But look at this, Squidgy and the bot lane of Abyss Esports Red, they're already getting that second tower. The push has only just started to commence in that top lane. Looks like the solo gold will be going over to Pabu here. That tower should be falling on the side of Abyss Red in favor of Chiefs any minute now, but keep in mind, they've only just started hitting on it. They've got a massive wave, but no one from Red is in position to stop them. So both the outer turrets on the mid and top will be falling. So a very accelerated early game from both teams here.
This will be an accelerated early game. It means that we'll be going into the mid game a lot sooner, and that's actually fine for both sides. One noticeable difference that we're going to see here is that the gold from these turrets on Chiefs Black is going to be passed over to 0. On the other hand, though, Abyss Red, they've decided to hand all of that gold over to Pabu, as they don't actually take this turret down, which could actually be a tactical advantage because the turret is so low. It forces members to constantly be guarding that one, and when you want to tower dive maybe 1 or 2 people who are guarding this turret, then you can just love tap the turret and it's already gone from the equation.
Yeah, 6 minutes in the game and already Abyss Esports Red, they've got themselves about 1,000 gold lead here, so the lane swap definitely coming out in their favor, both the jungle and the mid lane with a nice CS advantage. The only lane that seems to be getting a lead here is 0 in that bot. He's got himself about 10 over his opposition in Squidgy, and both of them had relatively free lanes, so maybe 0 just winning that last hitting minigame, but the Rift Herald has been started here.
And this is the problem with these 4v0 split pushes. It means that you really pass over the major objectives on the map to the other team. So Abyss Red, they pretty much control the Rift Herald, and later on when Baron spawns Baron, that's going to be so painful to go into. However, Chiefs Black, they should be naturally dominating the bottom side because of this. They don't decide to take Dragon as a counter to this Rift Herald, which is a little bit painful, but in the early game, Rift Herald does a little bit more than Dragon. Dragon 1, at the very least, takes a lot of time to scale up, but it's all fine because if they manage to secure the Dragon, it should be worth.
Yeah, Luch, he's got 2 daggers in his back pocket. Squidgy might be in a little bit of trouble here, but Zero thinks the better of that one. Moves away. We saw Rosie just with that Winter's Bite. But in the mid lane, just every time I look back, Omni, he's just getting poked out and poked out. 37 stacks left on his cull before he completes the minigame required to get that extra chunk of gold. So despite being a little bit behind, once he hits that 100 CS threshold, he will get a nice influx of gold. The package has been picked up as Corki speeds his way back to the mid lane.
And that influx of gold is more or less what he needs in order to finish off his Triforce. Corki is just like old Corki. You don't play him in the ADC role anymore, but you still pick up that Triforce because he still works so well with that item. He just scales off pretty much every single stat it gives him. Now that he does magic damage with his auto attacks, it's even stronger for him. I just love the item, and going into the mid game, which is what they're focused around, but it looks like the whole culling is going to be caught off to Gators.
It's going to force the flash here. Squidgy, he might be in a little bit of trouble, gets stunned up, Gators goes in, he's in a lot of trouble. The heal comes out, but the flash from Rosie Zero, he wants blood here. The heal comes through. Here comes Omni, the package, he's behind the tower. Pabu has teleported in. It is currently a 3v4. Zero gets taken out. Here comes Praetor. Pabu gets a 3-man lockup, and he's in a lot of trouble. Goes down to Rosie, but now Squidgy, he's in trouble as well. Here comes General, but Luch is behind. He gets a bunch of them. The tower falls, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 so far.
And that package by Omni, you may say, oh, but what? He missed everybody. Nobody got hit by that. How was that a good one? But it was amazing because what it forced the enemy to do was to stay under that turret. Like we said before, we were analyzing how that one hit on the turret meant that it really baited Abyss Red into sending members there, into defending that objective so that Cheese Black didn't get the gold. It means that they could hard dive it. And when you put somebody behind, like a Corki with the package, it forces them to stay under that turret. What happens then? You just hit the turret once, and then all of a sudden there's no turret, and you're caught between the enemy team, and you really got nowhere to go.
Yeah, after that little skirmish in the top lane, Chiefs Black, they've rounded out that gold advantage, so teams basically tied up 200 gold here or there, 2 towers apiece, and Chiefs picking up 2 kills for their trouble. So what looked like a little bit of aggression onto Gators turned into a gold and advantage swing into favor of Chiefs Black.
Well, that gold advantage naturally was going to go to them anyway because they were going to pick up that kill. It wasn't going to be too much of a problem, and that turret was just hidden gold. So they had it in their back pockets, but they just couldn't spend it because it was still in the form of a live turret. They take it down by just allowing Rosie to hit it once, punch it with Bronze Fist, and then all of a sudden, they got all of that money untapped for them.
Yeah, so Chiefs are going to be taking away the first dragon of the game, completely uncontested as they get that one from themselves. So after a little bit of a shaky laning phase, they've really been able to stabilize the game, get some control back, and really understand what they need to do to win this series. So still about 400 gold in favor of Red, but you can tell they're playing a whole different pace now. They're not pushing up past their towers. They're making sure to keep each other in their sights. Teleport not available for Pabu. Praetor still has his.
Praetor has his, which means that they can make a play. Praetor is known to be that really annoying split pusher who just pushes every single lane and puts so much pressure on the map. Pabu, on the other hand, he has this awkward decision where he has to make. He has to say, okay, I'm either going to help or I'm going to be with my team because I know that if I clear these waves, if I'm wherever Praetor is, then he's going to teleport away and I can't really deal with it. He has got an ultimate though, and that can stop the teleport.
Yeah, we see Luch here with the makings of the Nash's Tooth. Going to be picking that one up, the most popular first item build from Azir General. He's just lurking around this mid lane, and look how low Omni is. The ward is going to spot him out, does clear it, so General, he's not going to have eyes anymore. Omni's not going to have eyes anymore on General, so he's going to have to play really safe. Pabu's also made his way down. Looks like they want to siege out this mid lane. A lot of damage coming down onto Omni. That just shows the power of Luch's Azir. This tower gets lower and lower. They're not going to get it. They get a really nice chunk of damage.
Yeah, and that's really good in the early game because early game nobody has that much AD, nobody has that much AP. However, if you take a look at Luch, he is on one of the strongest pushes in the entire game. Azir, he just presses a rise on the enemy turret and it does so much damage. Praedyth is teleporting in.
Yeah, it looks like the bot lane of Abyss Esports Red might be in a lot of trouble here as we see Squidgy. He's going to get taken down without a second zone as the Grand Challenge has been laid down. Gators, he's got nowhere to run. He's going to get taken down. He is super low. He's used his ulti, trying to waste as much time as he can. Zero, they should be donating that one over to him, and there it is. Another double kill picked up on the side of Chiefs Black, and that just goes to show how well a properly executed teleport can be.
Yeah, and that was the advantage that Praedyth had over Parbu. He had the teleport, whereas Parbu doesn't. He still doesn't even have it right now, and it sort of baits you into a false sense of security playing as the Poppy, because you think, I've got a dash and I've got a knock-up, both of which can stop the teleport. But you can't if Praedyth just takes a few steps back and you're just that too greedy to read that signal and just farm up. And it's not really Parbu's mistake, because anybody would have just farmed up. You don't really want to chase somebody when they're backing, because they could have Zahi in the back just waiting in a brush, waiting to gank Parbu if he overextends himself, so he couldn't cancel that teleport, and in the end, that's a double going over to Chiefs.
Yeah, so Red picked themselves up the mid lane outer tower for their trouble, so losing out in this kill game, but still being able to keep up in terms of gold. Their map control has been good. It's just the overextension from Squidgy and Gators that has cost them here. Both times, the bot lane of Red were caught way out of position. We saw the teleport. He teleported to the bot lane inner tower and had plenty of time to go down. So Luch, he will be getting donated his own blue buff, which he so desperately needs now after completing that Nash's Tooth on the side of Corki. His Cull is now procced. It is ready to go. He's got himself that extra gold very close to going for his Trinity Force, and he picks it up just as I say that. So both of these mid laners hitting their power spikes despite, once again, Luch 50 CS in the lead. Are we surprised at this point, Preacher?
Probably not. We were sort of expecting Luch to do it. Sure, a little bit of that CS is padding, like we like to say, from the small Raptors, from maybe even the small Wolves if he decides to go that far, because he's just that bored in the mid lane. But in the end, they still give gold, and Luch has that advantage under his belt. The one advantage to Corki, though, is he has a one-item power spike. Luch, he scales throughout the entire game amazingly on Azir, but right now, on just one item, a Triforce compared to a Nash's, not only is Triforce just naturally stronger as a one-item burst, but Corki used it so well. There's the package.
Oh, Luch, he might be in a lot of trouble. Going to have to flash away from that one. The Emperor's Divide comes down, but it gets taken down immediately. Here comes the ult from Jin going through, sniping people. Not going to get one. Luch picks one up off the back foot from the grave. Omni is still full health. He's got his sight set on Gator. Zahi is also there. The Valkyrie comes in, gets exhausted immediately. Not going to pick anything up yet, but here comes Zero. Is the culling still available? No, it's not. So he's going to have to use just his wit and his skill about him. But in the bot lane, Praedyth going to answer with a tower for his own.
You can't just have a one-for-one trade on the side of Abyss Red, because, like you said, Praedyth in the bot lane, he's pushing. Not only is he pushing on Fiora, which is so strong on pushing, you got that Titanic Hydra, so you're going to be clearing this wave like all hell, but also, it's Praedyth. He knows how to do this. He's never caught in a foreign position. He can pretty much go to any country he wants without a visa, because he'll manage to escape A-OK, no problem. He'll be back at home in time for dinner, and he gets that turret for his troubles, which tips the one-for-one to his favor.
Yeah, diplomatic immunity in Summoner's Rift is something that I wish I could have at this stage, but Luch, we saw he just got caught out of position, was a bit late to pop that Emperor's Divide, went down from the missile barrage coming out of Omni's Corki. Only a Trinity Force and a Cull to his name. That Cull going to be doing nothing more than a little bit of health, a little bit of damage here. It's already served his purpose, so he's going to be able to sell that one off later in the game. But we see Luch, he's picked himself up those Berserker Greaves. He's got himself that needlessly large rod, so still ahead to Omni, picked himself up that BF Sword. So both these mid laners just going for nothing but raw damage at the moment. In the bot, we see both Zero and Squidgy. They've picked up their core item. Squidgy, he's got himself that Infinity Edge. Zero, he's got himself the Essence Reaver. So both of them are no simple weak 80 carry anymore.
Yeah, but on the side of Zero, he does so much with this Essence Reaver, because he's also got Boots of Lucidity, which means he's got so much cooldown reduction. He's going to be spamming out these abilities onto Luch.
Oh, Luch gets flashed over the Emperor's Divide. Beautiful from Zahi. Zero is going to fall straight after. The tower is still alive, and it's targeted onto Omni. Zahi might be in a little bit of trouble here, but so far it's a one-for-one. The tower still stands. The Grand Challenge was used on General So that's not going to be available anymore. So mid laner for 80 carry at this stage, but no Omni. He might be caught out. The stun comes through the Jhin ult, doing a heck of a lot of damage. They're going to pick that one up, so Omni just caught out of position in the place he didn't need to be.
Unfortunately, Omni was somewhere where he didn't want to be. He was trying to push on the side lane. He wanted to get that pressure off so that when Abyss Red hopefully only committed one member to deal with him, then his team could push down that turret because you got a Fiora who can reset her auto attack. She got an item which resets it one more time. That's so much hidden pushing potential available, but unfortunately for him, more than one member went, killed him, and then they had Abyss Red, had the man advantage, so Chiefs Black had to back off there in the mid lane.
Both of these teams just taking swings, neither of them pulling punches tonight. This is an absolute bloodbath, to say the least, fighting over objectives, not letting anything go without a fight. So both the top laners here, they've been instrumental. Whoever has teleport available seems to be in the perfect position. So now the tables have turned. Pabu has his up, Praedyth has his down. It's going to be on Abyss Red and Pabu to make some of the map rotation plays here.
And this is even harder for Praedyth in this matchup than Pabu, because at the very least, Pabu has the potential to cancel the teleport.
Yep.
Praedyth, on the other hand, only has damage. And if you don't get any CC on the side of Praedyth, then he can't dash any CC back to, on the side of Pabu. So Pabu will just be able to teleport out of there, A-OK, no problem, which leaves Praedyth in a really good position. He likes to split push, but he's not in a team fight.
Zahi may be looking for something there. Just the aggressive body slam, not going to connect though. Compare the junglers here. Zahi, he's got himself the Boots of Swiftness and a Spectre's Cowl, but on the side of General, he's picked himself up that Rod of Ages, and it's been stacking for quite a while now, so definitely the power advantage coming onto the side of Red in terms of jungle pressure, but the mobility on the Fat Man is nothing to laugh about.
No, it's definitely not. And when you get those boots on Gragas, it means that you have so much more potential in a team fight. All you need to do is you walk around and you're just pressuring with your ultimate here. But Pabu maybe wants to take it to Praedyth.
Yeah, Pabu might be in a little bit of trouble as every single member of Chief Black has made their way up to this top lane in a tower. They really want to get this down, investing a lot of resources here. And that just means that Pabu cannot split and cannot get off his teleport advantage. So Chiefs Black playing this really well, and now they've made their way over to that Rift Herald.
They're going to make their way over to this. This will be the last one if they want to take it. They look like they opt not to, which is unfortunate because, yeah, now it's going to just turn into a Baron Asher in a few seconds. Still a great thing to take on the map, but just a little bit harder to take than a Rift Herald. It doesn't matter, though, because they've got the tactical advantage for the moment at the very least. They've done a lot of chip damage to the other side, which is really strange because Abyss Red, they are really the chipping team. You've got Jhin, who can do that fourth auto onto a turret and apply so much damage in a burst, and you've also got Luch on Azir. Azir, you don't even need to say anything about his pushing potential because it's just nuts.
Here we see Omni. He's doing a great job of catching back up in terms of raw power compared to Luch's CS. So he's got the package available for him next time he wants to recall and maybe look to make a play. So they might be saving that for the next Dragon Timer. Seems very smart at the moment as Zero. He's doing a great job of clearing out these wards. I wonder if he got that second one. I think he did.
Yeah, he must have, because Lucian, it's not too hard. You auto it once, and then you just either use your dash or your Ardent Blaze, and then you get the second and third shots for free. So it's pretty futile, but he wants to put down the culling wherever he can. It got a little bit of a nerf where the range isn't as long as it used to be, but it still does the job in the sense that it pushes them off the turret for you to take.
Yeah, job done as Chiefs Black, they secure themselves the 4th tower of the game. Red still sitting only on 1, so right now 6 kills to 4 in favor of Chiefs Black. 35.7k to 34.5. So Chiefs, they finally got themselves that gold lead. They've got the kill lead, they've got the tower lead. So it's really going to be on them to how they want to dictate the pace of this game. Where do they want the fights to occur? Praedyth's teleport is back off cooldown, so they did a great job of denying Pabu from making any map movements.
And I actually quite like this back from Praedyth as we're watching it right now, coincidentally, on the camera, because it means that there's a minute left on the dragon. You don't need to see the dragon timer. You know that when Praedyth goes back in that particular position, it means that there's going to be a minute back on the dragon because he wants to get his power spike. He's got his Black Cleaver on top of his Titanic that we've seen him push with, and it also means that he's going to teleport to that dragon with his item advantage as soon as it's up if there's a fight. If not, he'll just be happy to split push for days and let his team take it, sorry.
So Zahi and Rosie doing a good job of taking out all the wards from red, so they'll be going into this one blind in the next 30 seconds. You can make something happen here and get some of the ward control. So Chiefs, they're doing a great job of controlling the map, basically. Every time I look, it's Praedyth. He's in a great position. Lute's going to be using that passive. Doesn't want them to take anything if they choose to contest this dragon. 15 seconds till it comes up. Lute, he's finished his Nash's Tooth. He's finished his Crystal Scepter. Only a Trinity Force and the makings of an IE on the side of Omni. Package has despawned, so he's not going to have that one in his arsenal just yet.
He won't have the package, but what's interesting in the top lane is Pabru's taking it to Praedyth, and Praedyth is getting taken down pretty low. However, both of these champs have teleport, but here comes the Grand Duelist.
The Grand Challenge has been locked down, so Pabu going to be getting the better of that one. But what does it cost him in the end? Another dragon going over to Chiefs Black, and that's going to be giving them the turret damage pushing power that they've been looking for. They've been able to get to these towers, but it's taken them maybe 2, maybe 3 rotations. But Luch, he's been caught out once again, and Rosie blocks the full portion of the Emperor's Divide with a beautiful shield.
In the top lane, though, it looks like Pabu just 1v1 Praedyth, flash on top of him and took him out. This is going to be a push advantage to Chiefs Black because they got 4 as opposed to Pabu's just 1, and Pabu's not even going to push. He's going to back and he's going to teleport to stop this push going over.
Yes, Squidgy, he's in no position just yet. It looks like they might want to make a play. Pabu, he has teleported behind. He's looking for Zero. The combo comes through. Is he going to be able to get the stun against the wall? It misses. The W comes out from Jin, not going to hit the defensive ulti from Zahi. There is Rosie's massive ult. Pabu, he's in a lot of trouble now. Squidgy, he hasn't been able to do anything yet, but Zero, he may have come too far after Poppy throws her ult down. Rosie and Zero are going to be in a little bit of trouble. No, but they turn it around. Zero, with an impressive bout of damage, comes down, claims that kill for himself. The Jin ulti comes down, not going to get too much as Zahi, the fat man, does just that and blocks all the shots of the curtain call. But Chiefs Black, despite getting jumped on his Zero, by millimeters avoided that Poppy stun, and we could be singing a different song right now.
If you take a look at his items, he's actually finished at Rapid Fire Cannon, which not only gives him even more cooldown reduction, which means he can dash around the fight so much more, it also means that he can pick off those people who he otherwise couldn't. He had to get closer. Now he doesn't have that problem. He got aggressed on because he was frontlining for a little bit in that fight, but in the end, he was just so far ahead with an Essence Reaver and also with a Rapid Fire Cannon. Those crits were so big, and they took down Gigators before he managed to get his combo down onto the Lucian.
Yeah, so another skirmish going in favor of Chiefs Black. 8 kills to 5, still rocking about 1,000 gold in the lead. So they're playing this game well, but they're not getting any real advantages here. Omni, he's been caught out by Pabu, but it looks like the crew from Chiefs Black are there. Gators might want something to say about this one. Here comes Luch, here comes General. Their whole team is here to fight. Can they lock anyone down? Zahi, he's just going to be running protection here. The ulti comes down. It is going to be defensive, but here comes Zero in the backline. Praedyth, he wants something to say. He's got his attention focused onto Squidgy. That's going to be Squidgy getting dropped, and now Abyss Red are in full retreat once again.
Take a look at this. Luch, he's going to wait until his cooldowns are down to get out, and it looks like Gators will be the sacrificial lamb, but it will work because it's support down and everybody else is up. But Chiefs, they could well go for the Baron here. No, they just pink it out, and they want to get even more map pressure off of this. They might go to the mid lane to push this out. That's going to be even more advantage over a teamfight 1.
Well, you can definitely see why Red fear the Lucian. Look how well Zero is doing right now. 623, 170 CS to his name. Almost got that third item. Got himself the cool, just going a complete cooldown crit build. That's what Lucian does best. Dashes around the fight, gets his passive proc, and just shreds. Squidgy, on the other hand, we've only seen him on the Jin and the Tristana, and right now the Jin not impressing me that much.
Unfortunately not, and one of the downsides to this specific Jin is the fact that he picked up a static shiv over a rapid fire cannon.
Yep.
So Jin only gets 4 shots in a team fight. You want one of them to be as long range as you possibly can, preferably the first one, so then you just start out the fight with a nice little damage spike. Because he went for the static shift, it means that he'll have a lot more pushing potential to his name. But the downsides of having that pushing potential is once there's a team fight, you won't be contributing as much as, let's just say, a Lucian with a rapid fire cannon. And this is why Abyss Red ban out those 2 ADCs. It's because it's so hard to play into champions who dash around all the time. It's so hard to land your skill shots. It's so hard to really force a fight on terrain that you want because the terrain changes all the time whenever they move around. and you just can't stay on top of them.
Despite getting a little bit of a lead, finally, Chiefs Black eking out more than just 1k. It is up to 2. 10 kills to 5, 25 minutes in the game. General, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Zahi, he's done such a great job of just resetting the fights. Every time it looks to be going wrong, there comes the explosive cast, just knocking everyone away from potential threats. So Chiefs Black, they've done a great job of winning these skirmishes, which seem to be snowballing them further and further in the lead. But you can never count out Omni.
Omni?
I mean, Luch, look how much damage he does just to Omni there with a few spikes out of his members. But there is the explosive cast once again. Zahi definitely MVPing for me right now. Anyway, the tower is going to be giving the defense that they need. But every single time Red try to make a play, Black is there to answer, and you got to give it to Zahi and his explosive casts.
And Zahi, he's built perfectly in this game because not only has he got that Spirit Visage, which give you 10%, you've also got a nice little 10% extra on your Glacial Shroud. You're just getting as much cooldown as you possibly can on this Gragas. You've got some damage coming out from your jungle item, from that Runic Echoes, so you're going to be popping that whenever you ult, and with all of that cooldown reduction on him, it means that his cast is going to be up. Take a look at it. It's already half up right now, and I think we just came out of a team fight where he used it. That's insane. He's got so much pressure in this game because even if the enemy aren't quite ready to fight, he can just flash, belly slam, and then ult one of them back into his own team.
Yeah, it looks like Chiefs Black are grouping up once again in that mid lane. They want that mid in a turret. They have their eyes set on the prize here. They're rotating around, just getting some nice deep wards. Dragon up in 20 seconds, and they have complete control once again. We've seen how much damage Luch can do, but besides from CSing, he's not doing much else in this game right now. We've just never been in the position to do anything. Zahi gets knocked up by the W from Pabu here as both teams are making... Oh, he might be in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to get out of that one just in time. That's what Luch is capable of. That's what I want to see him doing as we see they're grouping up around the Dragon now.
And it doesn't even matter that Luch is 1 for 4 because at the end of the day, an Azir is always going to be an Azir. He is always going to have that long range, but it looks like they want to engage.
Yeah, it looks like they've gone in onto Zahi here. Maybe they want to make something happen, but in the top lane, Praetor, he's making short work of that tower every single time. Red try to get an advantage. There is Chiefs to say, nah, you're not getting anything unless we say so. So now, after getting the Dragon, they lose a tower. That's only Dragon number 2 for another tower. 5, in fact, in favor of Chiefs Black.
And because there were no bans in this game, sure, it may be some kids in a candy store, but you know what Praetor is? He is that center of the sour warhead because he's just exploding right now. You say, I'm going to get my favorites, but you're going to get yours as well, and your one is a Fiora who's going to push so hard onto our base.
Luch, he's just doing so much damage. He needs to be in a better position. We've seen him being caught out time and time again. Besides Gators, there's no one besides his own ulti to peel for him, and it hasn't been enough. Down on the bot lane, 0 though, 7, 2, and 3, just absolutely taking away the pace of this game. We've seen them ban Lucian time and time again, and it's apparent why they do it. They just don't seem to be able to do anything about it. Positioning themselves around Baron now, maybe just baiting it out as it is the jungler who will be recalling.
They don't really want to bait around this Baron area right now because first of all, they don't have map pressure. Second of all, Praetus is pushing because he's Praetus, right? And third of all, they are down in terms of money. They haven't got the items, which translates to less damage and less tankiness. It's really hard for them to pressure the Baron around because if Chiefs Black call the bluff, they might just want a 5v5 teamfight and the winner.
Yeah, 5,000 gold ahead for Chiefs Black. After what seemed like a shaky early game, they've definitely accelerated into the mid, and Luch once again just gets taken out with no answer. Gators, he's in a lot of trouble now. Zahi gets taken a little bit of damage, but it's insurmountable compared to the loss of Luch once again, and you got to wonder why they're constantly being caught out of position. Is it Chiefs Black just doing a great job, or are Abyss Red getting careless?
Well, if they are getting careless, then they definitely need to fix it because Praetor doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon. Going away from the main fight, he's just going to push this turret down even more, no problem. And they have to decide, do they want a 3v4, in which case they lose this? Get Gators.
Oh, he's got caught out once again. There is the Brawl multi-0. He's in the middle of the fight. He gets one, gets taken out. General now is going to be the next focal point for Rosie, who's just a support behind enemy lines. The Grand Challenge gets thrown down. Pabu, even with the impressive 4-man knock-up, is going to be enough. And the Grand Grand Challenge gets proc, that's going to heal them back to full health. That's going to allow them to take the turret. That's going to allow them to take an inhib, and definitely a really good stronghold in this game if they didn't have one already.
They definitely needed that lead if they didn't need it before, and now with that extra lead, it's a little bit, you know how we were saying it's just kids in a candy store? I'm going to continue that because Omni surviving with the Grand Challenge, that heal that just came down onto him, it's even more. But Omni here, he's taken pretty low. Rosie, though, saves his life.
Yeah, Rosie doing a great job of running point. Every time that Omni seems to be in trouble, there's someone to protect him. Every time Luch seems to be in trouble, he's getting killed. That's the defining factors of this game, is Luch, he's not able to survive any of these engages. It looks like they want to go for a last-ditch Dignitas attempt on that Baron. They're taking it considerably low, but they don't have anyone there. Look how low General has been taken. Here comes Zero, the masked murderer himself. The teleport comes through. Pabu, he's in. 2k health left on the Baron. They should be taking it no trouble. It goes over to Red, but how many members are going to lose for this?
They're just going to lose one, but they're going to lose a lot of summoners as well, getting over that wall. Zahi, it's not over for him, but I actually quite like that teleport coming out of Pabu because it means that he could push all of the members of Chiefs Black back from that Baron camp, which was just enough time for General to smite it away. In the end, Gigators falls because he didn't have flash and he was being a scapegoat for his team to get out there. A lot of them, in fact, just Pabu, sorry, had to burn his flash to get over the wall, but that's still a flash down that you won't have on a Poppy. And Poppy, if any champion, really needs flash in order to reposition for those wall bobs to get that stun out for his team. It's going to be so hard, but at least he's got that at least he's got that Baron buff to help his lanes not get pushed in.
Well, Chiefs Black, they've got to be feeling good in this first game of the best of 5 series. Such a massive lead coming out after what seemed like a very shaky early game now. Even though Red have this Baron, it just seems like no means to an end. It's going to be drawing out a little bit more time, but they're going to have to do way more than a sneaky Baron to take down Chiefs Black, who are well and truly back on form here.
Well, you know, given 2 or 3 more sneaky Barons, and then I'll call it pretty even. But right now, they're defending really well. And that is their motive for the moment. They just want to push out these lanes, and then they're not at their turrets, chipping those turrets down, because that little damage counts in the long term. And with Baron buff, it's so easy for them. They're just going to be clearing these waves slowly as Squidgy has to reload, but it's all okay. They just want to clear this out, wait until their inhibitor comes back in the mid, because that's so long. And 30 seconds to go is when Dragon comes up. If Abyss Red don't want to leave their base, which honestly seems like a bad idea to leave your home while your inhib is down, then it's another Dragon going over to Chiefs Black. It makes them move a little bit faster.
Yeah, they have absolutely no vision to speak of anywhere in any parts of the jungle. We see General, he's going to be laying some down around his own red buff, but that's about as far away from Dragon as you can be. So Chiefs Black, they should be getting this one completely uncontested as Red. They're just running defense for their own bases. Praedyth in the top, once again being a nuisance. Looks like it's just going to be a free Dragon.
Take a look at that. He drew 3 to 4 people over to the top side. They didn't even know Dragon was taken. They had a timer on it, and it's pretty much on spawn. Whenever it comes up, it goes down, and it's going to go over to Chiefs Black. So they're going to get a 3rd Dragon, which makes him move a little bit faster. That's exactly what Praedyth wants, because if he's caught out, then he can just maybe get out.
It's really going to be on Luch. He's super damn strong. It's his survivability that is costing them the fights in this game. If he's able to stay alive and do more than 1 rotation of spell damage, they still have a shot at winning this. We are 34 minutes into the game, a 65k gold. Chiefs on the side of Abyss Red, 58, 16-6, a 10-kill lead, 7 towers to 3. They have every single advantage in the game right now, and they're using it well. The only advantage left is Luch with 100 CS over his lane opponent.
And you have to give credit to Luch, and you cannot talk any higher about him, because this is the true merit of a player when he's just been oppressed so much in his lane over and over again in the mid game, accidentally been caught out. A lot of summoners and ultimates burn on him just to catch him out. He's still 100 CS above his lane opponent. This guy just doesn't give up. He is that Rambo who is on his knees, but he is still fighting. He is going to fight that very last breath. And if anybody needs to fight that very last breath, it is Luch, because he's got the gold, he's got these items, and he's also got the skills available. He just needs to live.
Yeah, Red, they're going to need a miracle, and his name is Luch if they want any hope of winning the Squidgy. He's strong, but he can't dish out his damage fast enough, especially when they've already been killing the main threat. Looks like the inhibitor has respawned, so it's going to be on the side of Red to defend the Chiefs' black push. They're splitting really well. Azir passive comes down. That's going to give them a pseudo tower for a little bit of time, but is it long enough?
It should be, because there aren't that many objectives coming up, and when the turret naturally dies because it has a time limit, it should really lead to another objective being taken around the map that isn't a base turret for the side of Abyss Red. It should stay up very nicely for them. If you take a look over though, Praetor is still being annoying at the top side, and Luch is still farming in the mid lane, so nothing really has changed, which is a problem. Abyss Red, they need to shake it up. They need to catch anybody out, including Praetor. It looks like Rosie's just going to pop his Unbreakable. Nothing much is going to happen here. They're going to take the turret. Yeah, that turret going over to Cheese Black. Just a little bit more gold, but a whole lot more map pressure as Praetor once again pushing the top side. And if anybody can stop this cycle of just losing objectives really slowly, it's Pabu. He's been taking it to Praetor all game. And if anybody can break this, it's him to really take it to him, kill Praetor over and over again, and then get behind the team as a 4v5.
Yeah, the base has well and truly been cracked, but here comes Ahi. He's going to get taken extremely low. Does able to get out of that one. He's going to be killed by Pabu. The ulti from Braum comes down. Not going to be killing anyone else, but look at Praetor, the nuisance himself. Going to be getting himself that inhib. No, as here comes the cavalry. Everyone making their way down. Praetor not going to be able to riposte that CC in time. He gets taken out by Luch, but they get the bottom inhib. How many members can they escape with? They've already lost 2. The 3 seem to be in full retreat.
Unfortunate sidestep there. Praetor outplays himself and steps back into the zap from the Jin, and that stuns him up. That catches him up. But Pabu, speaking of being caught up,
it's not over yet, as it looks like Chiefs Black, they want to turn this one around. Squidgy gets taken out. Zero doing so much damage. They're turning it around. 3v3 General. He's in a lot of trouble. Nowhere to go. A double kill for Zero. Where is Luch? He's back in the base. He's trying to make a play. He goes to the Empress to fight. Gets stopped by Braum. That was huge. Zero, he's looking to get himself a Quadra. One more should do it. Pabu's going to be taken down. That is huge, and he could potentially end the game here, Preacher.
He very well could. That Quadra to end the ace for the side of Cheese Black. He's even going to disrespect by standing in that trap and taking the full grunt of it. They can finish this off, because with death timers as long as Abyss Reds, this base is just Cheese Black, and they're going to whittle these turrets down slowly but surely, and it's going to go over to them. But well played in that last fight. Omni stepped all the way behind, which forced Luch to either hit Omni or hit Zero, but he couldn't hit both, and that's the problem with Azir.
Wow, that game just shows how strong Chiefs Black are when they found their form. They were definitely on the back foot for about the first 10 to 15 minutes, but a slew of early skirmishes constantly going in their favor is the foothold that they needed to get themselves back into the game. And then objective after objective, every time Chiefs Red tried to make a play, there was Black to answer it every single damn time.
Every time, and they just took it to them. With the small skirmishes, Black just rotated that little bit better, and all you need is that little bit to push it over the edge for your team. In terms of the split pushing, just a little bit more. You're ahead of the curve, you triple buff at the start, and you look at that and you say, wow, that's a little bit of a back foot, but unfortunately it wasn't, because the Herald wasn't enough in the early game to push down. They only got 3 turrets in the end. That's not enough into Chiefs Black, because they're going to take much more with their comp once they pick somebody out from your side.
Yeah, Praetor definitely was the better of the 2 top laners in terms of teleport presence, was able to get his bot lane back into the fight after being pushed out severely. That early game spike from Jin, that 4th shot, it's just such a menace to go up against. And Praetor, he knew that his bot lane couldn't contest that early on, was able to get a few teleports, and we saw that Zero on Lucian, definitely not something to be messed with.
No, definitely not. And Zero, when you take a look at his champion pool, it's pretty much Lucian and Kalista and anybody who goes into meta. So right now, Lucian and Kalista are meta, not only because they do so much damage, but also because they're just so damn hard to get onto. They dash around and you just don't know where they are. If you're a relatively slow carry in the form of maybe even Azir, how it's fairly static, how much damage you do, because you've got that circle that indicates if you're out of my circle, then you're not going to take any damage from me. Well, that's really easy for Lucian to play into, because he can just dash straight out of it.
Yeah, so keep in mind, guys, that first game was definitely a red herring as both teams didn't get to have any bans. So next game, we're going to be seeing 3 bans apiece from each of those teams. So we're going to go to a quick break. Can Chiefs Black continue this dominance, or will Abyss Esports Red fight back? Stay tuned to find out.
You took my love, then gave it back. It's yours to leave, but it won't keep me from this hard time. And I'll try to carry on again, but I never really knew that it was over.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and for those of you just joining us, you missed quite an epic game of Chiefs Black really showing their top form and taking out Abyss Esports Red systematically. A few skirmishes here and there that may have gone a different way. We might be telling a different story, but Chiefs Black, they're looking unstoppable after that first game.
Yeah, they definitely do look unstoppable, and what a first game to come from, because they just dominated very carefully. They didn't really play so much solo queue. They went into it more methodically. They took whichever skirmish they knew they had the numbers advantage on. They didn't just want to fight for the sake of fighting, and in the end, they took it out just fine.
Yeah, they really played phenomenally here and there, despite a bit of a misstep early game. Losing those 3 buffs is such an important mistake, and Red, they definitely pounced, no pun intended, on getting those early advantages. The lane swap was a little bit messy in terms of the way Chiefs Black handled it, but some great teleports from Praetor, some really good skirmishes, a lot of dragon controls is what got them back up and on top of that game.
Yeah, and that's just what they needed to get back into the game. They got that Baron, they got those dragons, they got all of those Barons, they got all of those turrets, and that was really the tipping point for Chiefs Black. You couldn't really define any one moment where you say, oh, they won the game there. You couldn't do that. It was a slow and methodical win, and they took it out carefully, they took it out slowly, and in the end, they pushed it to the base. They didn't overextend when they didn't need to. In the end, Praetor died a little bit for something that he shouldn't have gotten caught for, but they still won the game despite that.
Yeah, every single player in the team was able to make themselves work. Every single position played phenomenally. The top laner did what he needed to do. The bot lane became that massive carry in the end. Corky, he was just able, despite getting chunked time and time again, to survive those very risky engages, but get those rockets, get them past Alistar, hit the priority targets. Luch, he was doing so well throughout the game, but every single time a skirmish came into it, he would just get taken out.
And if you took a look at Omni, every single time our camera panned to him, it looked like he survived on just that small sliver of health. But that's all you need, because when you survive on that sliver, you can go back, you can come back on full health, and then you can take it to him. And unfortunately, we couldn't say the same for Luch, because he had that little bit of damage that he just got that was above the maximum health of the Azir, and he just got taken down again and again, and those small disadvantages really pushed it past him.
So the biggest mismatch for me seemed to be in the bot lane. Squidgy taking on Zero. We've mentioned how important banning away that Lucian is for Red, but we saw it here today, just what happens when the opposing team is allowed to pick up Lucian. And Zero, he put on an absolute clinic, rocking up double digits in terms of kill, while Squidgy wasn't even able to pick himself up a single kill. So Jhin, Tristana, he might have to branch out a little bit more. This is the grand finals. The teams aren't holding anything back. Sure, first game was a little bit of a ringer here with both teams missing out of the bans. This game might be a little bit more serious and definitely something to look back on, but Chiefs Black, they're looking damn fine.
Yeah, they are. And just like you mentioned, the Lucian off the table,
yes,
the Kalista off the table. Yeah, there we go. Those are the two bans that they're really comfortable with. No matter who they really play with, they really want to just get the Lucian and the Kalista off, because Squidgy, he'd rather push down these turrets, he'd rather have the methodical control throughout the game, and then he just takes the lead from there. So because he had to play against the Lucian, he didn't have the advantage the last game. He should be able to get it this game though.
Well, Chiefs Black straight away banning 3 of the 5 last champions Red did play. That's going to be the Nidalee, the Azir, and the Alistar. So it's going to be General, Luch, and Gator is going to be having to mix it up a little bit here. Again, I think they all have great champion pools, and I know Luch can play any single farm champion. General, he can play the Gragas, he can play the Rex, he can play anything else. It's Squidgy who's going to have to kind of reach into that champion pool, channel his inner solo queue, and bust out something big here.
He has to take out something. The Jhin didn't quite work out for him in the last game. The Tristana he does all right with it, but it's more a
They shot
PvE scenario, and there we go. Pretty much the same picks as last game. We got the first pick Corki because Chiefs know that the mid lane is going to get counterpicked. Might as well pick it early in the rotation, get somebody extremely strong like Corki. On the other side though, Pabu on his signature champion, and when you take off Alistar, what do you get? You get left with a Braum because he is the second best in that place.
Yeah, and Pabu, he did such a good job on Poppy. Being able to 1v1 a Fiora is no easy feat and definitely something not to laugh about. So Chiefs Black, they must have something in mind if they're going to so easily give away that Poppy to Pabu. Maybe put Praetor on something a little bit more safe. Maybe one of those tanks instead of such an assassin.
Well, Praetor hasn't really been known to play full tanks. He's really like those split pushes, like for instance the Fiora, which is banned off, and the Lissandra. Taking the Fiora off the board, it might force him into a Lissandra pick. I wouldn't actually mind that because Lissandra goes well into a Poppy. She does all right in general, but the Thresh pickup.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing kind of the king of supports being picked up here. That is going to be Thresh in the hands of Rosie. Zahi getting himself the Gragas again, and he was definitely the MVP for me that game. Every single explosive cast was just placed so well, whether it was aggression, whether it was defense, it didn't matter. Every single time he was hitting away the plays he needed, drawing in the enemy. So you have to commend him on that Gragas, and I'm excited to see him picking that one up again. But on the side of red, looks like we will see Luch going for that Elise, but Squidgy defaulting to Tristana. I'm not sure how I feel about Tristana in the current batch of AD carries that are rising in popularity.
So right now, it's sort of the battleship mentality where you know that the enemy want to outplay you, so then you might want to outplay them, but then the enemy are thinking, so they might want to outplay us, so we'll have to outplay them. So it's really going to be up to them. When you mind game the enemy so much, you don't really know what they're going to do in the end, whether they're going to take the Tristana into the bottom lane or the top lane. If they do successfully pull off the 2v0, which later turns into a 4v0 though, the push advantage no doubt goes towards Abyss Red.
So it's interesting to see what Chiefs Black here. We know that Corki could potentially be in the mid because Omni, he played a heck of a Corki last game, and you and I were talking about the potential of an Echo top earlier on the bus ride over. We're just sitting there with our notebooks out just talking league nonsense, and wouldn't be surprised to see Chiefs, and there it is. That's going to be the hands of Praetor. Tank Echo has been absolutely wrecking face in that top lane since a small quality of life buff to his passive allows him so much extra movement speed, and with that little time-winding baseball bat, he's able to just bonk down the likes of Poppy.
And it only took that little bit of movement speed to really bump him up into hyperdrive in competitive. Because all you do is you slow them down, you throw maybe just your Q and an order, and when the Q comes back, that procs your passive. That means the enemy can't run away from you. Not only are you faster, but they're also slow. And you just do that 100 times more. Maybe in a lane, you don't have that much leeway, but in the middle of a team fight, you certainly will. And because you're slowing them down, because you're speeding yourself up, it's so hard to get away from. If he builds something that slows, like either a Rylai's, maybe not, but more
the Frostborn, I'd say.
More likely than not, the Iceborne Gauntlet, then he will just be slowing everyone down around him on just his auto attacks, and nobody will be able to escape this super fast moving Echo.
So on the side of red, it looks like every single one of them have defaulted to their comfort picks here. We've got Squidgy on Tristana, Gators on that Braum in the bot lane. Luch, no surprise, a farm-heavy champion in Victor. Definitely the shining star we've seen him play. In that jungle, we see General on the Elise and Pabu on the Poppy in the top lane. Over on the side of Chiefs Black, it looks like Echo will be in the hands of Praetor. Gragas on Zahi, Corki on Omni, then rounding out that bot lane there, Ezreal. Thresh onto Rosie here.
Yeah, that's quite strange because Ezreal is quite a safe ADC. Thresh, on the other hand, is really one of those enablers who not only makes plays, but also tries to defend your AD carry when he's out of position. When you go into teams that can displace him, like for instance a Poppy, you can just throw down your Lantern and get your ADC out of there, but you don't really need to do that for Ezreal because he can pretty much do that for himself. I like to see this bot lane though because it really reserves that Lantern not only for Ezreal, but for another carry on his team, like maybe even the Corki. Omni packaging into the enemy team, and he wants to save his Valkyrie for an aggressive dive later on, so he can just get Lantern out of there to safety.
Yeah, and a lot of the Ezreals, as of late, we've been seeing they go for that tier into Cull and just go straight into farm mode. There is no aggression, there is no playmaking. It is, I want my tier stacked, I want my Cull stacked, and then I want to get online and start wrecking face. So Wouldn't be surprised to see if he goes for that route. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but damn, is it satisfying once you hit those power spikes.
And normally we don't see Ezreal, not because he's not strong. I'd actually say he's one of the strongest AD carries in the current meta.
Sure.
The only reason why we don't see him as much as we should see him is because games go so quick this season. Yeah, and Ezreal just takes forever to stack. Like you said, pretty much all of his build is stacking. You've got the tier, which takes forever to do, even though you can proc it on cooldown. You've got the cull, which you need 100 CS after you pick it up.
Yeah.
That takes forever to scale as well. And you need an Iceborne on top of that. It delays your build and your spike for so long, but once you get online, man, are you online. And in this matchup between Chiefs Black and Abyss Red, these two teams who like to take it to each other late, they don't like to make stupid decisions. They take it very slowly and very calm and methodically. Ezreal might work out in the advantage here.
So here we are finally in the game. Chiefs Black, they look unstoppable in game number 1, but Red, they showed us through that early game that they have the tactical minds behind their squad. It's just those skirmishes, that mechanical play that cost them in the end. We see a 5-man invade from Red coming through.
Yeah, they're going to invade here, which signals over to Chiefs Black that they should be invading on the top side. And also just get that extra ward down on the top side so that they can get that vision down so that they know where the lane swap is. That's really all they need. If you take a look on the bottom side though, Rosie even got a ward down into there. That's going to give them all the information they need to know, because pretty much their only one gambit in this game is picking where the Tristana goes and matching it with their own bot lane.
Yeah, so both teams were able to get down their vision wards, but you got to give the advantage to Chiefs Black in terms of that vision, because they have, I don't think there's a path that Tristana can go maybe through just around that blue buff to completely get through, should she know where all the wards are, of course. But once again, we see Omni, he's picked up that first item cull, so really enjoying the playstyle that Cull provides.
And if you take a look over to this Tristana, they're mind gaming them. They're taking forever to walk to lane, but that's got to be worth it. You might miss one wave, you might even miss part of 2. But
they got spotted though.
Yeah, they still get spotted in the end there, but it looks like Chiefs have to commit, because if they don't, then they're going to miss 3 or 4 waves even just to move the bottom lane into the top lane. And this is strong by Abyss Red. They're going to be behind in experience, they're going to be behind in gold, but they're going to be up in turrets.
Yeah, definitely right. We see General doing a good job of just farming away, and that's the advantage that Elise has. She is a ranged champion. She can go to melee. Those Spiderlings, they also, that's a few tower shots here and there. That can be the time, the difference between what's a tower and what's not.
And this is pretty much the same situation that we saw last game, where Chiefs Black misread the situation. They started on the bottom side once more, and this potentially means that they will lose their blue once more over to the side of Abyss Red. General can just invade because they've got the awkward path where they have to go from their red over to their chickens, back down to their Krugs, and then they have to push the lane. That means you only get 1 buff. Yeah, if my math serves me correct, that's just 1 buff, which means that the enemy get 3, and they also push over to the top side, no problem, on their own. It's so disadvantageous for Chiefs.
This is damn reminiscent of the first game here, as we're seeing pretty much every single thing that happened last game happening right now. We see 3 from each squad grouping around their turrets. Looks like General, you might want to make a play here. The Cocoon not going to connect as Omni just valks out with no troubles. But at the end of the day, General, he's got himself a blue buff just waiting to be taken. Squidgy, that explosive shot does a heck of a lot of damage to tower, so maybe they might be able to take this one down before the squad of Black can.
And now, because they've got all of this time to the side, they've got one of 2 options. They either get the second turret in the top lane, or they go back and try to stop the push in the bottom side. They decide to go back and stop the push. I would have liked to see them take it even further, because if you do that, then you force Chiefs Black to go for your second turret, and then you've got even more of an advantage because you're still Tristana.
Yeah, so once again, Red, they really have this early game down pat. Maybe we're seeing why they wanted Red side every single game, because once again, look at the gold lead, already 1.3 sure. The side of Chiefs haven't got themselves that tower just yet. It should be falling any minute. Echo will just be bonking that one away. There it is. Gold lead basically tied up now, but you got to give it to Red. They definitely come in with a plan, as we see old mate Ezreal disconnects from the game. So once again, running the exact same strategy. Chiefs Black not prepared for it, getting 3 buffed again. They know how to counter this, though, because they did it in the first game. So surely they're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable this time around, knowing exactly what Abyss Red are going to do next.
Yeah, and that's the real advantage that you get from 3-buffing the enemy. You never expect to be 3-buffed normally, and when you get 3-buffed, part of it is the fact that you just lose your blue. The other part is it puts you on the back foot, because if you even spend a few seconds thinking about what do I need to do now, that's a few seconds that you could have spent literally doing anything else on the map. And now they just know what to do because they've been in this situation before. They're quite comfortable in this situation. Obviously, it's not optimal to lose your blue buff so early, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. You won last game in those conditions. You could well win this game in those conditions again. It's not too much of a problem, says Chiefs Black. They might just be really confident going into this.
Yeah, definitely a hard team to rattle, but Red trying their best to instill some doubt in their mind. Red, they've the only team to beat Chiefs Black in this entire split, and it's going to be on to them to do it again as we're back into the game. Here we go, guys. It's just Omni and Luch farming up once again, and pretty much anytime we go back to Luch, the word of the day will be farming, because that's all he's going to be doing, but he is on his comfort pick in the Victor. We've seen him go transition from farming to assassin very, very well. He struggled to do that on Azir, so hopefully Victor might merit him some more kills.
Well, Lucia's played a lot of Victor throughout this split. He's pretty much picked him half the time that it's been open, and he just really loves this champion because Victor, it's long range, it farms, it pokes, it does everything that Luch wants. It is pretty much the embodiment of Luch in a champion, and he plays it to a T. But take a look at this Tristana. They're just being Tristana in the bottom lane. The difference between this game and last game is that Abyss Red are always going to be ahead in time. And if they decide to take another turret for turret, which it looks like both teams are quite comfortable with doing, they're going to be even more ahead in time. And this just compounds depending on how many turrets Squidgy wants to take.
Well, I don't know. This turret's about quarter health. Here comes General. He's going to have those spiderlings to help tank it up just in case they run out of minions. It should go down without a second's thought. And one more shot. Hey, they give Pabu the localized gold to get him back into the game. Be interesting to see on the side of Chiefs who they decide to give that one over to. Looks like it will be shared gold amongst them, but the push continues.
Yeah, and on Abyss Red, they've always prioritized the Pabu. No, just Pabu in the top lane. Yeah, whenever they decide to go over, they decide to give the gold solely to Pabu because they know that Pabu can carry. You put him on Poppy and then he just says, guys, my shoulders are big enough to carry you, and just give me the gold and I'll be able to 1v1 anyone. But it looks like Chiefs Black are going for turret number 2. Abyss Red already back, so they can't respond, but Squidgy is by himself.
Oh, wow. This is huge. Chiefs Black called the buff of Red, and they lose a tower with nothing to answer for it. So Chiefs, with a complete gambit, throw that one out. Praetor, he's able to teleport bot, get himself a massive CS wave, and that is huge. That completely throws Abyss Red's plan on its head.
Yeah, Abyss were really banking on the pushing game. That's pretty much their strategy coming into this best of 5. They just want to push out Chiefs Black. Once you outpush them, it takes their #1 strategy out of their hands, and you've already got your own in yours. You know you want to go for these skirmishes. You know you want to out-rotate your enemy on the map consistently. All you need to do is play slowly now. You don't need to make any mistakes. Just play slowly like you did last game, and this should be in the bag. Abyss Red, though, what they need to be saying to themselves is, okay, we need to beat them at the game and we need to bait out a lot of these rotates. When they think they can, they can't really. And that's what they need to do. They need to set up a lot of traps in the upcoming skirmishes and fights in order to tip it in their favor.
7.5 minutes in the game and 5 towers have already fallen. 3 for Chiefs Black, 2 on the side of Red, meriting those ones. But this game, once again, just seems to be super accelerated in the mid. Ezreal, he's going to be going, drifting away from that Cull, just went for the tier into the Sheen. So, like we said, how accelerated the game was, maybe he feels he does not have enough time to farm to make it a viable option. General just going to be donating that blue buff across Rosie. Should be getting the time for that one as Zahi also makes his way up to General.
Yeah, the general premise of a cull is that
go ahead,
is that you only buy it once you can't really buy anything else on your back. And because Zero could buy this Sheen quite nicely on top of his tier in that back, he just bought it. And you don't really need that cull if you don't absolutely need it because you cannot buy anything else on your back. So because he could afford that, it's all fine for him. He's just going to scale up nicely. He's going to get the Iceborne, and he's going to complete that Mana Mune, which will stack into a Mura Mana, and he's only got one stack to worry about in this game.
You don't need it if you don't need it. You heard it here first. Jimmy Preacher Fu laying down that color caster knowledge. You can tell he's quite the expert at his color mastery. So as we see Chiefs Black, they're going to be taking away this Dragon. Abyss Red, they tried to do that earlier, but Black called their bluff and took a tower from it, now taking the Dragon. This early game is spiraling out of control, and Chiefs Black, they're riding the roller coaster.
Would you call me a color caster?
No. No, I would not call you a color caster.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not going to do the maths on the call. It's just 1 extra gold every minion. It's a boost of 400 at the end. Yeah, no, there's not much maths to do here, but Praetor catches out Squidgy.
Yeah, Squidgy might be in a lot of trouble. Going to be having to use that rocket jump, the dragon jump to escape, but Praetor, he doesn't want to let up just yet. He's making well and truly Squidgy.
What?
Fight for his life. Goes in again for the E. The ultimate going to be coming up, and now Squidgy, he's got his teammates coming up. Thresh is going to be there with the defensive lantern, but General and Gators were in the wings waiting.
And at the very end, it forces an ultimate out of Squidgy.
Yep.
And Tristana, she doesn't build any cooldown reduction. She's one of those champs that likes to go for the Zeal, likes to go for her first attack speed item, and then into an Affinity Edge. There's no cooldown reduction in that build, which means that she's not going to have that for the next engage. It has a relatively low cooldown by itself, but because you're not going to be building any, it could be the window that Chiefs Black need in order to gank her and get that lead. Because First Blood hasn't gone over to anybody yet.
Yeah, despite First Blood not being dropping, it feels like Chiefs Black are doing a hell of a lot of killing. A Dragon, a Rift Herald, 3 towers and a 500 gold lead. They are well and truly in control of the map, let alone the game at this stage.
It looks like Squidgy may be caught out here, though. Burns that... oh, no, Rosie wants to go for it.
Oh, the flame misses. Squidgy going to answer with the flash. That flame was crucial, but Rosie centimeters off. Squidgy had to burn his flash and his rocket jump to stay safe from that one.
You just got to do what you got to do. And if you need to flash in order to survive, you do it. But it's
Good
a
ward.
flash down. Oh, look at that. Abyss Red are completely caught out. They just need to get a camp for their troubles and then move away from this. But once again, they're denied that turret, which is their one motivating factor coming into this Tristana pickup. You want to be able to do this, but in the top lane, though.
No, Luch just getting taken down considerably low, so a good gank attempt, forcing the flash, forcing the cleanse and gate gators. He might be in a little bit of trouble as General, though. Oh, a nice flash to avoid the slow coming out of Zahi. He didn't have the ult, having already used it. But that's a flash down for Elise. So right now, Abyss Red, broken hearts and shattered dreams, as every single thing they're doing seems to be going wrong.
And these flashes being down for Abyss Red is so bad for them because it means that you've got your 2 carries with their flashes down and also your jungler with their flash down. If they want to fight, Chiefs Black can really take it to Abyss Red right now.
See Zero, he should be going back. Maybe he's going to have enough gold to finish off his Muramana. Why else would you go back on Ezreal when there's definitely some more farming to be had?
Yeah, no, you just need to stack up that tier. That's really all Ezreal's story is. You know, he stacks up that tier and then he says, oh, there was this game that was happening while I was doing this. Hey guys, I'm online right now. Doesn't pick up that item, but he will get the pickaxe, which helps him farm up a little bit more. It's all cool because he's just going to be spamming those Mystic shots all day long. It's fine for him at the moment.
Yeah, Praetor, he is on that Echo, who has quite a nice escape in forms of that ultimate should he ever find himself caught out of position. You can see he's giving a lot of respect to General, despite General not have any success with his ganks in the first game or this one, but it never hurts to be prepared.
No, it definitely doesn't. And General right now, he doesn't have too much ganking potential because first of all, that flash is down and you didn't really burn anybody else's for it. And second of all, you've picked up your runic echoes. Great. Now what? It really leaves him in a trough where he needs to use that item on the enemy, but also the enemy are starting to group so you don't get that 1v1 power that Elise really brings to the board. It's quite awkward to play as General right now. He still does have a cocoon though, which is always useful at every level.
Yeah, it looks like Omni has finished his Trinity Force, his Triforce here, so he's going to be hitting his massive power spike. Luch, he's done nothing besides a pair of boots and upgrading that Hex score. Looks like the squad of Red, they might want to go something here. Gators not going to be landing anything important. As the squad of Black, they get the blue buff and they get out.
Yeah, they get the blue, they get out, they even secure the warding on the dragon, so once it comes up, it shouldn't be too hard for Chiefs to get a good line onto this if Abyss decide to do it, but Gigators...
Oh, Zahi, he might be in a little bit of trouble, but that body slam, oh, it is such an amazing move, and should he have been caught out, there was Rosie with the lantern to ensure his safety, so really, Red, every single time they want to go for something, Chiefs Black always have an answer, and you got to give them props.
Yeah, you definitely do, especially going into a Tristana push. You never expect to get more turrets than she does, but hey, the situation calls for it. They've got more turrets, they've got more map pressure, and Dragon coming up in a minute. This could prove to be a lead that Chiefs Black want to exploit.
Yeah, back in the mid lane, we see Luch. He's staring down the barrel of a loaded gun, and Chiefs Black had their finger on the trigger, ready to fire. We've seen how well they can group up around these turrets, and they tend to focus on doing that around 15 minutes in the game. So wouldn't be surprised to see them go through about 14.5 minutes currently. Chiefs Black, they've got a little bit of a gold lead. No turrets have fallen since that early push out of both teams. Corky will be picking himself up the package, which will allow him to get back to lane in just a jiffy.
Yeah, he'll be getting back there, no problem at all. One interesting thing to note is that Luch isn't actually that far ahead on CS. He's up a little bit, but now he's going to back once Omni comes back. What is this? Luch isn't actually ahead by 20 to 30 CS? That's crazy.
Even gods can bleed, Preacher. You should know about that, being a preacher yourself.
Well, if you take a look at Omni right now, he's more or less even with Luch, which going into Luch means that you're going ahead, right? Is that how the maths work? I'm not too certain. But it looks like Chiefs Black want to start up the Dragon.
Yeah, once again, this Dragon should be completely uncontested. That will be Dragon number 2, giving them the pushing power they oh so love around the appropriate time in the game that they love to do it. So the second Dragon completely uncontested, or Abyss Red even playing the game at this stage, Preacher.
This is quite strange to go into because now you haven't actually got too many options to push. The only ways that that Chiefs Black have been pushing in this game so far were in the lane swaps, where Abyss Red voluntarily left those turrets open. Now that they're actively defending every single one, Pabu's got his teleport up, it's much, much harder to push this down, even with Dragon 2, because in order to apply Dragon 2, you got to get up close enough to hit it.
Ooh, Gators just takes a little bit of damage here. Going to be throwing up that shield door to maintain the tower's health, trading his own health for the tower. Squidgy, he's come back on his little Dragon in tow to make sure that this tower stays safe, but how long can they keep it safe against Zahi's cask?
Oh, you know, they definitely have to hold it as long as they possibly can. That field is going to hold, that gravity field is going to hold them nicely in place, but Zahi, he's got an ultimate, and he's looking to get an angle onto the side of Abyss Red.
Yeah, everyone's made their way down. Pabu, the only player still away from this top lane, looks like he will be walking down. Praedyth has also made his way down. He's got that ultimate available should he find himself in any sticky situations, but it really looks like Chiefs, they're committing to this tower. Zahi, he might be in a little bit of trouble. The CC comes up and wow, he just gets deleted from about 80% health. Omni, he's in a lot of trouble now, answering the Braum ulti comes through, knocking people up. Praedyth, he still has ulti available should he choose to turn the fight around, but that was just the trigger. They pulled it and they killed Gragas.
They managed to get Zahi out before he even ulted, which means that a huge ultimate is now off the map. Not only is it amazing damage because Gragas rushes damage early, but it's also a nice disposition tool for Chiefs Black. Without that Abyss Red, they've got all the pushing power in the world. They've got a Poppy, and they've got a Tristana who's wailing on this turret. It should be going down. They might even want to get more for the troubles.
Yeah, Abyss Red, they've got to be feeling good after that one. Every single
Squidgy?
play. Oh, he might be in a little bit of trouble. He gets taken down as Ezreal. You cannot underestimate the Sheen proc damage. And Red, they tried so many different things. Finally, something worked for them, and they just throw it away with over-aggression from Squidgy.
Not too sure why Squidgy stayed there. There wasn't much purpose to it. I think he was just talking to his team and there was a bit of miscommunication. Because of that death, Chiefs Black should be able to get one turret in response. And it's a one-for-one trade, one-for-one turrets as well going down for that. So it's more or less even.
Yeah, so you gotta question the positioning there. Unfortunately, Squidgy was taken down. Black, they were able to get a turret for their troubles. 18 minutes in the game, still about a couple hundred gold in favor of Chiefs Black. Corky, he's got himself those Source Shoes. He's picked himself up a BF sword. Ezreal got the makings of that Iceborne Gauntlet, where on the side of Squidgy, all he has is the static shiv and the pickaxe.
Yeah, and with that one death as opposed to one kill that Zero got onto Squidgy, it means that he's going to be put back into his already late game build because an Infinity Edge takes so much gold to build. A static shiv doesn't give too many stats by itself. It's good wave clear, but that's more or less it. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Squidgy to be playing into Zero because this is what Abyss Red have troubles playing into, an ADC who can get around. And once you take Lucian and Kalista off the map, you've still got an Ezreal who can dash, and while it's not a dash, while it's more of a blink, it still means that you're not going to land a lot of your skill shots.
Ooh, Zero just walking past that ward. Ships in the night, not going to be spotting that one out. So that could potentially be huge, as it did spot out a few members of Chiefs Black rotating up to that top side jungle, looking to maybe make a play here. The Rift Herald does still have a few seconds left on him, and Chiefs Black want to make sure they get that buff once again.
I mean, if it's up, you might as well take it before you'll never see it again this game, and they've got all the time in the world to take it. It looks like the map pressure will be going in their advantage. Zahi will take it. It's very nice of Abyss Red to go over and pressure him off of it, but at the end of the day, Rosie did have his Dark Passage to get Zahi out of there. Nice little micro play from all of them, which means that no fight had to escalate, and Abyss Red are once again on the back foot.
Yeah, this game is still standing on a nice edge. Any team that is able to pull the trigger, to put the pedal to the metal, to make the play and have it succeed, will potentially just run away with the map here. So right now, both teams, they're very even in terms of what they can accomplish. Black, they do have that 2 dragons to 0 advantage, a tower up the gold, only about 400, 500 in favor of Chiefs. So Luch, he's got the potential to blow up anyone on this squad. Pabu, he's so damn tanky, he can still dish out the damage, not to mention his CC has been on point. We saw it earlier. Squidgy, he's the only kind of outlier here. He's not too strong just yet. He's playing Tristana, a champion that wants those 3 to 4 items before she can really just get the resets and wreck face. It's going to be up to Gate Gators to ensure that she can get there.
And if you take a look over at Chiefs Black, if you take a look at their gold lead, you might say, sure, there's less than 1k difference between them and Abyss Red. What's the big deal with the lead? But it's a lot of hidden stats they have because they've got that Herald buff ticking away. They've got Dragon 1 and 2 under their belt. If they decide to use either of them with another Dragon coming up, they might want to use that deceptive lead that they have over their opponents and make it a bigger one as Gigators gets caught by the hook.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they want anything more. Chiefs Black, they know that it's a bit risky to fight 15 seconds before that dragon's coming up because they really want to get that, and the mid tower's already been taken, so Red, they can't really do much more than just push up the wave. Dragon spawning in 5 seconds, but Black, they look like they might want to fight here.
They might want to, but the gravity field is in a perfect position.
Oh, the ulti comes out, knocking Gate Gators in. Here comes Echo, the stun comes through. There is the package from Corki. General's in a lot of trouble. Gate Gators goes down. He gets taken out. There's going to be a 2 for 0 in favor of Chiefs Black, once again showing the dominance in these early skirmishes.
I love that package delivery from Omni right over there because he used it like a Rumble ultimate almost, just cutting off all of the exits available for Abyss Red, boxing them into his own team. Generally, you don't see Corkies do that because first of all, you've got to be in a pretty awkward position to get that started, and second of all, it leaves you in a really bad position as well. But because he knew that his team had the tactical advantage, he could do that without much repercussion. All Squidgy could do was get an order and a bomb off onto him, not enough to do anything significant as he just blocked off the exit of Abyss Red and his own team just systematically picked them off.
Yeah, Chiefs Black in a position to potentially run away with this game should Red kind of incur any more defeats here. So once again, Black, they know how to pick their skirmishes. They know when to fight. They know when to Valkyrie into the back of an enemy squad between a tower. So you got to commend their bravery and the commitment to the call. The shot calling's on point and everyone's following it. That's when these top teams work. When they coerce together with a common goal to win the grand finals of the challenger scene. And Chiefs Black, they're in an excellent position to do so.
They definitely are. And one thing that I actually want to talk about on the side of Chiefs Black, I know we're talking about them a lot in preference of Abyss Red, is Praedyth. He hasn't used his ultimate once his entire game. And that's actually not a bad thing because you can use Gigators with the hook.
Yeah, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Look at the damage coming out of Zero. The ulti comes through. Gigators on the correct side of that one. Not going to get bounced back in. But as you're saying, the Echo, yeah, it's a great defensive ulti and not having to pop that is definitely commending to him.
Yeah, because if you don't pop it, then you've always got it in your back pocket, and you're saying, guys, if you want to do a lot of damage onto me, then I'm just going to heal part of it back pretty much immediately, as well as do a lot of damage onto you if I'm positioned correctly and you're positioned incorrectly. It's a nice little gambit to have on the enemy team because you're actually a lot weaker without it than with it. You're actually much more stronger if you just never pop in a team fight than if you are forced to do so. And because he's got the forward foot, he's got a kill, and he's also got the CS advantage. Oh, there's a fight.
Yeah, looks like the CC comes down onto 0, but Pabu not going to get anything more. Popping the ulti, that's going to knock Praetor out. He pops his own ult to get back into the fight. This is an absolute scrap fest here. Pabu going in, but 0 once again catches out Gator's loot, trying his darndest, gets hooked. There's the cleanse just in time. Omni, he might be in a little bit of trouble. The gravity field goes down, going to flash out of that one. Zahi gets away. The teleport, though, coming back in from Praetor. They want this tower. They want the fight, and just constant scrappy skirmishes coming out of these two teams.
And Praetor on this Echo, he's been doing so much because he's building tanky for his team. He's got that Iceborne Gauntlet slowing people down, like we said, with his Q, with his Iceborne speeding himself up with his passive. He's so annoying to deal with. Once he ults, he gets some health back. He's building tank, so he's going to get a lot of health back, and he can just back and teleport back into the fight. Yeah, you just have to kill him pretty much 2 and a bit times. That's so hard to deal with.
Yeah, Abyss Red really feeling the pressure now. It looked like they wanted to go for that fight. Pabu getting way deep into the backline, trying his darndest to catch out Zero, who took a cocoon to the face. But Zero, he was able to answer with a kill of his own, taking out Gate Gators. And that Ezreal Q just going through about 10 minions there. That was pretty funny. He was able to take out Gate Gators. You don't want an Ezreal 2-0-2 at 25 minutes.
No, you don't, especially if you're a team like Abyss Red who like really systematic fights where you know how the fight is going to go, and if you want, you can even shape the landscape of the fight. And Ezreal or anybody else who has a significant dash or a reposition as an ADC or mid lane, which both of the Chiefs Black carries have, that's so hard to play with, because once you put up these walls, like for instance, the Braum literally putting down a fissure in the middle of the team fight, just getting rid of all of the parts of entrances and escapes, they can still deal with it after that. So Abyss Red, they're on the back foot in terms of their comfort zone.
Yeah, Chief Black have really been taking it to them all series long. Every single time a play is made, it's Chiefs Black who are initiating it. And they say if you're not making the play, if you're not playing proactive, you're playing reactive, and you never want to be playing reactive, because that just means that Chiefs Black, they're dictating the pace of this game, and you're falling in to how they want to play. And Chiefs Black, they don't play well from behind. They're used to getting ahead and just steamrolling over their opponents, but that's not something you can do against Chiefs Black.
I mean, that's the motto, right? If you're not mapping the plays, then the map's playing you, right? And as they go for the Baron, this might be a little bit of hubris, because I don't think they can do it just yet.
No, they're definitely flying a little bit close to the sun here. The wings are melting. We see Pabu and Praetor in that 1v1 once again. Last time it was Pabu who got the better of him in game 1. The stun comes out, but two Juggernauts just trading blows here. Neither one of them going to be sustaining any real damage, both being able to sustain up should they need to.
Yeah, and Pabu in the end here, he can stun Praetor up against any wall if he's positioned correctly, so he's still got that advantage. On his favorite champion, where he knows the exact distance of the dash, he has no problem going into this matchup. Even though Praetor has that ultimate, I don't think it's going to be enough to go into this Pabu, so he's just going to push where he can and back when he's being encroached on.
Yeah, I'm really looking for something positive to say about the way Abyss Red are playing this game, but right now it just doesn't look like anything that they're trying is working, and the stuff that they're trying is questionable at best. So maybe this next Dragon, they might be able to kind of force something here. They're about 2.5k behind in terms of the gold lead. 3 Dragons over to Chiefs Black. This could potentially be a 5-dragon game should Red not answer anything, and they can't just sit back and let Chiefs play League versus AI. No,
they definitely can't, because a 4th Dragon is so hard to deal with the split push, where Praetor is being caught here. I don't think he's the right target, though.
No, he is just getting out of that one. On the back, we see Omni just taking out Gate Gators without a second's notice, and once again, Gate Gators has been caught out 0-3 at the moment. It seems anywhere he treads, he's standing over a landmine, and that landmine's name is Corki.
Yeah, and with Corki, you don't want to give him this advantage. He had that Triforce spike,
Dragon number 4.
and now that's Dragon number 4, which means that Cheese Black can quite comfortably tower dive because you get 20% damage off of a turret. That's insane.
That is insane, Jimmy. You said it here first. You guys heard it here first. Insanity.
Yeah, absolute insanity, because Dragon 4, it even gets doubled when they get Dragon 5. We're not going to say Dragon 5 now because, you know, it's about 6 minutes off the board, but if Chiefs decide to go for that victory condition, they can just die for days.
Yeah, Chiefs feeling really good in this series. Remember, last time these teams went up in their head-to-head, it was Abyss Red steamrolling over Chiefs Black. That could have been Chiefs just feeling good after securing that first place with the very impressive 6-0 before coming up against Red, but it looks like a completely different Chiefs Black team coming into this game.
It looks like it because we only have one game to go off in our records, but one important statistic that I'd like to talk about as we have a bit of a lull in this game
Lay
is
it on me,
just
Jimmy.
Abyss Red. They have some quite lopsided statistics, but Zaki gets caught.
Yeah, he is going to get blown up any second now. The ulti should be coming down. He gets taken out. No ulti to answer for his own. The tower doing what it can, but as soon as Praetus comes teleported in, he gets knocked out by the Poppy.
It's a little bit too late for this fight, but Chiefs, they're on the back foot now, which means that Abyss, they might want to push, but they are quite low. Squidgy, the one person who wants to push, is quite low as the Ezreal ult hits.
Well, Squidgy is damn low.
He is very low, as he just wants to get out of here, no problem. So they're only going to pick up a kill. They're not going to get many objectives for this, but the statistic that I wanted to bring up was that Abyss Red, quite lopsided. They have about an 86% win rate when they're on blue side, but only a third, so 33% win rate when they're on red side. And coming into this best of 5, Chiefs Black, they picked the first game, the third game, and the 5th game, and they picked them all to be blue side. So they denied that from Abyss Red, whether they knew about this statistic or not. But here is the weird thing. Abyss Red, they actually elected for red side in the 2nd and 4th game off their own free will. So I don't know if this statistic is an anomaly or not, but it's certainly looking that way coming into this best of 5, because the first game, Abyss Red dropped. The second game, they're on the back foot. I'm not going to call it right now, but they are certainly not ahead by any metric, and it looks like it's going to slip a little bit for them right now.
Well, after what we've seen from their jungle shenanigans in both games, maybe that they really liked how well they were performing with the lane swaps and felt that they couldn't perform it as well on that blue side of the map, so they opted for the red at 0. He gets chunked low, but that is just the survivability of Thresh and Ezreal Incarnate. Looks like the fight has erupted, though. Rosie might be the target. Here comes Zahi on the back foot. Squidgy trying his best for the reset's not going to happen. 0. He's still healthy enough to poke Praedyth coming through. Luch, he's getting taken low. Zahi, the hook comes through onto General. That's going to be a spider to a boot. Gators comes back in, gets taken out. Praedyth, he's in a commanding position right now. A double kill, looking to make it a triple onto Squidgy. Pabu is in a world of hurt, trying to answer for that one. 0 picks it up. Squidgy is going to book it, and Luch was nowhere to be seen.
It's too little too late, though. Squidgy does manage to live through that whole ordeal, but only their 2 carries survive and not on a lot of health. Chiefs Black might want to push as hard as they possibly can and exfil around the Baron area, or just go for the Baron straight out, because once you get the Baron, you get more than 1 turret for your troubles.
Yeah, they're really in a great spot with no one in a position to contest this Baron call, so very smart coming out of the Chiefs Black, and this just goes to show why they had a near undefeated record in the regular season. It looked promising for Red. They called out 2 members, but they just didn't have the damage behind the initial punch to knock anyone out. And if you allow Ezreal to get away after you've burnt every single one of your potential CC on him, he's just going to Q you and slow you anytime you even get in range. And that's just what Blue Ezreal is all about. You got to make sure to kill him, because if he escapes, got to know he's coming back for you.
Yeah, he definitely is going to come back for you, but you've got to give props to Abyss Red, because the first 5 minutes of both games this series so far, and I can only assume to come, they've played pretty much perfectly, but Luch,
he's dead. He just gets taken out. He has no way of escaping. The Ezreal ult comes through, then all it was Crit City from Omni.
Yeah, this isn't as bad as the first game for Luch, but he still get caught out there. This is his first death this game. I'm not going to rap on him about it, but Abyss Red, they play so perfectly for the first 5 minutes of every game. and then they just crumble because they have a lack of direction, it almost looks like. But here's the fight.
Oh my god, before we can even start, Gators just gets blown up. They have the Baron, they have the 4 Dragons, and they have the Inhibitor. 10 kills to 2, an 8,000 gold lead in advantage of Chiefs Black, 6 towers to 3. And you mentioned how strong Red's early game is, but Chiefs called their Black and got 2 towers for the price of 1.
They might even go for the in-hit here because 10 seconds on Luch and Gators, they can't defend this.
There is no way they can defend this. They could even take the Nexus if they were ballsy enough to go for it, but they are going to play it safe. They're in the perfect position to win this game. Why risk anything?
Yeah, they're just going to go back. They might even go for the mythical 5th dragon. Have we seen a 5th dragon this entire split? I'm not too sure if we have, but yeah, we're definitely going to, unless Abyss Red have something up their sleeves where they can quickly take this dragon from under the noses of Chiefs Black, take it to them, and then defend their base from there on in.
It's an absolute miracle, and if they pull it off, I will eat my own tire. So right now, we see Red. They're making their way around. The damage has been taken by Gators. That's the person you want it onto for the side of Red. Pabu, he's going to be going in onto Praetor, but 9 damage coming out of that one. The slow's coming down. The Poppy ulti is going to connect onto... Someone goes flying off the center of our screen. It was Zahi. They might want to go something that happens, but that is Zahi in a great position. There comes the package straight on top of them. Praetor, he's going to get taken down. He's doing just so much damage in the back. I say that as he uses his ult to keep himself safe, and that is going to be a clean ace, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to be Red. Black taking another game so convincingly. Look at Praetor, the gall to teleport straight up to that top lane. GG.
That was 5 for 0 right over there, and now they're going to push for the base. Praetor, his split pushing senses were tingling. He's saying, nobody can defend this base. Quick, I need to teleport in there. And he gets that little bit of extra damage before his whole team joins him for this Nexus takedown.
Chiefs Black looking absolutely unstoppable. Abyss Red, they're going to have to pull off an absolute miracle in the next game just to stay themselves inside this series. Keep in mind, guys, it is a best of 5. The grand final winner gets that #1 seed. And even though I'm feeling for Abyss Red, I'm glad that they didn't win that because I actually really like this tie and I didn't want to have to eat it. So
yeah, I was about to say, you actually promised a whole audience live that you were going to eat your tie. Luckily for you, though.
It's not even my tie, it's my roommate's. He wouldn't be too happy with me if I came.
Even better for you then, because Abyss Red, they knew that they had to take it to that last dragon. Yep. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't the best. They caught Zahi out with the Poppy ultimate, which was, in the end...
It just repositioned him.
It's better for Zahi than it was for the whole of Abyss Red, because he could just get in behind their belly slam some people and then just exploding casket a lot of them back. Unfortunately there for Abyss Red, but yeah, if they want to take it back in this series, which they definitely have to be thinking about, 2 things that they want to consider. They might want to get rid of those 2 bans, because it means that you can't take off a lot more that you need to on the map. You've got Omni, who's just first picking that Corki every single game, and what an amazing performance coming out of Omni. That one that one package delivery
it's basically at the start. An ultimate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much Rumble ultimate there on a Corki. It just repositions yourself as well, so it's a little bit different, but it essentially functions the same. You can't give it to him because he can just pretty much play it into all of Luch's strong characters, which are Azir, which are Orianna, which are Victor. You need to spice it up a little bit.
So both games we've seen a very similar early game. Abyss Red, they know what they want and they know how to achieve it. First game, it worked really well, and they got a very nice lead, and they were able to keep it for about 15 minutes before Chiefs Black answered back with some early skirmishes. Game 2, exact same start. 3 buffs, 2 towers apiece. But Chiefs Black called their bluff, and they got that 3rd tower completely uncontested, and that set the pace of the game. So going into game number 3, they're really going to have to mix something up here.
They do have to, and when you pick ADCs like Jhin and Tristana, you really want to get the turret advantage. So when you don't, you put on the back foot there. And when you go into the mid game, you don't have as much power as you may have practice with. In your scrims, you like to take down a lot more turrets than your enemy do, and you go into the mid game, you're like, we're just stronger because we're better mechanics. No, you got that little bit extra gold from that turret, and because you don't have it in your live games, it really tips your expectations away from what should be happening.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, you will have Hysterics and Mendrix to round out the end of this series. From myself and Jimmy, it's been a pleasure casting Split 1, and we hope to see you guys again soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the grand final. My name is Jake Asterix, Aussie Penko, and with you is Nathan Mendrix Mendez. And we've just watched Rogie and Preacher. Watch a domination coming from the Chiefs. You've got to wonder, why is Corky left open?
I do not understand why they are leaving Corky open. It is ridiculous.
Not too sure.
He's almost had a nearly 100% pick and ban rate throughout the entire international play.
Oh, yeah.
He is so strong purely what he brings to the team. He's got fantastic mobility around the map. He's amazing in terms of the fact that he does a bit of magic and a bit of AD damage.
Yeah.
He is a fantastic first pick. He's safe and he just scales so well. Mind you, he's not the best scaling out there, but the fact of the matter is he will still blow people up. Why are they leaving it open?
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I can't refrain myself because honestly, it's just such a high priority pick that you'd think, look, with two teams that are, even though it is 2-0 and it is becoming quite apparent who is dominating this grand final, you've got to wonder that with two teams that are at the same skill level, why would you leave something open so? It's so annoying.
It could be part of their idea to go, okay, we'll leave that open. We can beat it. If they feel they can beat it, you should leave it open. That's one of the good things these teams can do. They can say, yes, this champion may be good. We have faith in Luch. Luch will be able to farm against it. Luch will be able to do well. Let's leave it open because we'll beat it in the end game. And that's what the team was going for. That's what Abyss Red wanted to do. They had ticking time bombs. You got the Victor, you got the Tristana. Those two champions, when they get to late, absolutely demolish teams.
That's right.
Absolutely demolish teams. Chiefs Black, though, just completely showing us that history continues to repeat itself. These guys are domineering. They will do not let you get your chance to get to late game. They will see, identify your strategy, and destroy it. These are what they've been doing throughout the entire Challenger series. These guys are good at what they do.
And every single game we see this exact same thing. I feel like we watched the same game twice there because early game we see the lane swap coming through and we see this turret rush from both sides. And I honestly just think that a lot of the time it has been Abyss Red trying to get an advantage early. However, last game, it felt like Chiefs Black sort of domineered that one a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's one of them, you shake out those nerves in the early game. Like the first game that you have a little bit of nerves, you shake it out, it means you get crisper play, especially when it seems to be this sort of repeat coming across between them.
Yeah.
Now, what I love about it, these guys are playing lane swaps perfectly. Then they know exactly what they need to do. They need to make sure that they see which champions are on the map at those particular points in time. That way they know, okay, we're safe to actually engage this tower or we're safe to actually use our teleports to get back and defend towers at certain times. They're playing this perfectly. And I partly like it because Abyss Red, in terms of what they're doing against Chiefs Black have a really, really strong laning phase. What's a great way to bypass that? Take away one of their greatest strengths. Let's do some lane swaps. Let's take advantage of them.
And let's see if they can actually take over this one a little bit more. We've been wanting something from Abyss Red, and you know what it is? It's that power to really know when they're at their advantage. So if Abyss Red can take this champ select just a little bit towards their advantage, I think that's going to start them off as we move in. Needly, Azir, and Alistair this time gets taken out. Kagate is not going to have that opportunity. Lucian, Kalista, every single game. They don't want zero on these champions, and Corky now away from Omni, like we said, it's too high priority.
And it's because they've seen the performance that Zero has that coming across. And then Corky, thank you for banning the Corky. You guys have done the right choice there, but instantly Chiefs Black strike back. They're going to take away the Poppy from Pabu.
And I mean, what better decision to take away one of the most comfortable champions of Abyss Red's side? I mean, the map awareness that comes through, as it should from any team, was fantastic on Pabu, and I think the Poppy would just fit so well into the team composition, so definitely wasn't that top lane.
Poppy fits well into every team composition. She seems to have everything you really need.
To differ.
You beg to differ?
Urgot. Actually, no, hang on.
You're right, yeah. Urgot, Yasuo, and Wukong.
And then the Poppy does not... Does it
No.
count as a knock-up or not?
It just knocks him away, mate.
Jeez. Yasuo
It's
is never
actually-
going to belong.
The moment Poppy uses a good old knock-up, it actually makes them untargetable for that period of time. So it's really bad if you use it into Yasuo, because Yasuo can't last breath onto an untargetable.
We'll test that theory one day.
One day.
One day. That theory. But look, we take away picks from both sides. Echo comes back into the top lane. You saw Praetors last game. Not something we've seen in the OCS just yet, but we are into patch 6.5. Elise and Gragas, both pretty standard junglers. And again, okay, so I see the Poppy and the Fiora.
That's correct. So it just seems to be an interesting pick that they actually have that. That means we're going to have a Poppy support. So then we've got the Poppy support, Fiora top, basically giving Praetor what he likes to have. What they've done there is, okay, we've taken the Poppy away. They've picked up a champion that actually does fairly well against Poppy. So they can say, no worries, we can play Echo into that as an example. But he's a flex. He can go jungle. Too bad there's an Elise. So now that he's sort of pigeoned himself in, they've kind of gone, yeah, we've taken the Poppy away from Pabu. We're good to go that way. They've picked something that can actually deal with it. And they go, no worries, you're now a support laner. Have fun with that. And Jhin gets picked up.
Flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing the hover of Jhin here, but finally, I've been waiting for Siva.
Ooh.
I've been waiting for Siva to come out. She's just so reliably great in that mid-late game at the moment. I'm surprised she hasn't been picked earlier.
What I really love as well, it's the Bard and Siva combination.
Oh, yeah.
So what's great about this is you can have the majority of your team sitting back, just waiting for that right moment. You get a fantastic Bard ultimate just coming down the side, sort of like going for that good old basketball hoop shot.
Oh, God.
And once he manages to get that 3-pointer land, manages to get a whole bunch of champions locked away, instantly Siva pops on the hunt. The rest of the team charges down. By the time it pops up, they've got a whole team emerged upon them.
You guys are loving the metaphors and puns tonight. I tell you what, it's just coming out of the blue. Ari comes through. Wow, it's been a long time. And that's very interesting.
That is very interesting as well. I mean, she's still solid. She's not exactly the a meta pick at the moment.
Hasn't changed too much.
Exactly. She hasn't changed too much. She's not bad. She's not amazing, but she's still good. And more of them just going for a comfort pick as well. And plus, it was them going for a safer pick because you're not too sure what they're going to decide to take up in this case. And I really am interested to see that Cassidy
versus
pick up.
Ari. These two mid laners have not been played in fruition amongst the OCS. This is fantastic. This just makes me feel...
No, we did have a Cassidy.
Yeah, but we didn't see Cassidy versus Ari.
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
this hasn't come to pass since Season 5. This is fantastic. I think this is going to be a very interesting mid lane.
Oh, absolutely as well. Ari's had a few little bit of quality of life. Well, actually, she's lost a bit of her quality of life. Before she had the ability when she was actually able to stop dashes in between her charms. They're not available to her anymore, which, to be honest, isn't big until it hits that pro level
It's
of
not going
play.
to matter with this team, though, is it?
We do have a few dashes there. I'm just checking.
But nothing is
mainly
major.
mainly the dash on the side of Echo. So that's one you have to look out for.
That's right.
But the thing is that if you look at everyone else as well, it will interrupt Elise's sort of jump in as well. So that's something she might not be able to get her damage off when she decides to go in for. It's a little bit of execute damage, so it takes a bit of HP away at the same time based on how much is missing. Whereas the first ability, the Neurotoxin, is the one that takes away damage based on how much HP you have, or your maximum HP.
Look, I feel like something these teams are doing for the last game, possibly the last game for Chiefs Black, they've gone ahead and gone, look, I'm going to pull something out of the random bag. I'm going to pull something out of, Nunu's workshop sack. I can think of Santa, but I didn't want to say his name. I've just done both in one sentence. Instead, we see an Ari, we see a Cassidy coming through, and we see that Poppy and the Fiora sort of mixing things up, where you see a Poppy support, which at the moment, Poppy is more prioritized in that top lane. But I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm going to see a bit of a really aggressive game in that mid lane.
Well, it's going to be interesting with the two of them. Both of them are assassins. But the big thing about it, Ari does get going a little earlier before Cassidy, and Cassidy really wants to get his Rod of Ages so he can start stacking up. At that point, he does become almost unstoppable towards the late game, because if he has a few Rift Walks charged up, boom, he's just going to smack them down to the ground the moment he does it into a nice grouped bunch of champions. Whereas Ari, she's going to be looking more to pressure Cassidy early, see if she can force him out of lane, and then use that opportunity to roam around, because she is quite mobile when she needs to be. That good old Spirit Rush that she has lets her push around the map and find those picks that she needs, especially really surprising champions.
And hopefully we don't see a lane swap coming through. It'll be like the third game in the row tonight. Ladies and gents, this is what Chiefs Black need to get the first spot in the OCS. This is what they've been searching for. Abyss Red. They need to defend off this early game shenanigans. They need to make an awesome team fight come through, because if they don't, Chiefs Black are going to do the exact same thing they've done in the past couple of games and just find weaknesses and crush on through their team composition.
Yeah, and looking at these team comps, it's actually a bit different to what Abyss Red has been going for. They seem to be going more towards that late game, trying to hold on, make sure they have Chiefs Black making the proactive plays. Chiefs Blacks have shown, yep, you know what, we can make those proactive plays, and they're making their mid games and early games utter hell for Abyss Red. So these guys have started to pick up a few more early game champions. Siva's really good towards that mid game. Even though she gives so much more utility, she's actually quite a big lane bully. So I love her pick up against Jhin. Jhin is someone who really wants to go to that supreme late game. He gets so much gold value from his passive. It'll be interesting to see what Zero decides to go for, whether he wants to go for a more utility-based Jhin, where he has more movement speed by picking it up and getting those extra shots off, or if he wants to have that nice, beautiful damage. We're talking nuclear shots being hit out every single time, especially on that last shot.
Ladies and gents, I think for the first time in the grand final, we're finally seeing standard lanes coming through from all laners. Both bottom lane going to get the Krugs and the Gromp move to their respective lanes there. Get that half level advantage. Remember that not doing it is worse than coming straight to lane. Or is the same thing in my opinion, because I just said the same thing twice, but that's alright. Abyss Red going to move to lane with Zero. Zero actually did not take much of that damage, and Rosie very tanky. Gagator's already level 2 though. I think he absorbed more of that damage. Mendrix, this actually might be a first blood. Wow, Gagator's gets forced out with a flash.
And that was just them, Chiefs Black, showing us they are fantastic in that bottom lane together, that Zero Rosie combination that they have. Gagator's went have been a little bit too far forward. You have a Poppy. She's very tanky. What are you going to do in that situation? He manages to land a full shockwave as well. Zahi and General just chilling out in the jungle, but General much stronger. Probably look for an early gank coming out quite soon.
Already the pressure starts down bottom with Chiefs Black monstering down through. Siva going to get some shots off on Poppy, but nothing too much going to hurt them at this stage. Lucian Omni continue to farm in the middle lane. Things are pretty evening up. The only advantage is Zero, who of course is just forcing them out of lane. Remember that early game Jhin, one of the scariest damage bursts from an AD carry I've ever seen.
Yeah, having that extra force shot if he manages to pull it off, especially if you time everything well when they take the Krugs, means you get a free crit right off the bat, which is just so big to have. But Rosie, such a menace. He seems to be amazing on those range champions, just poking away. And when he's on a melee champion, he just seems to know the right positioning pretty much every single time, forcing a little bit more damage out, forcing a little bit more zone and harass, just making life a lot easier for Zero.
And the brood harassment down bottom, but a teleport goes down for Pabu, who teleports to the minion wave. Don't think there's any change in cooldown now, whether it's a minion wave
That's
or...
correct, there is no change.
Oh,
wow, he's
Rosie,
low.
is he going for this? He goes for it with a nice heroic charge. Rosie picks up first blood for Zero. Zero gets the ignite, he takes one turret shot too many, a double kill for Rosie. Not really on the right person though, as comes down and General cleans that up with a 2 for 2.
And that was the advantage of having the Elise early, the fact that she was able to clean up after that. Chiefs Black did an amazing job to gain an advantage in that bottom lane and really take it away. But General was there ready to take it back. Abyss Red makes sure that Chiefs Black are not going to run away with this final game.
Zahi moving up top to position on top of Pabu. He doesn't sit on a ward at the moment, but I feel like Pabu is in a good position to get out. Remembering that tumble, as I like to call it, is always great as he goes on to him. But is he going to get out of this, Mendrix?
He's going to be in a bad spot. He's doing a good job to get away, but...
Oh, the flash comes through. Zahi body slam misses. It's a flash down for the top laner.
I really like the way he decided to use his footwork. What he did there was he used his parallel convergence, decided to walk around, and then he used his good old dash to hop in towards it while they had positioned closer towards their side of the turret. That meant that if they decided to chase after him, they would have been stunned, and he wouldn't need to have blown the flash, but they were smart in walking around it.
A sneaky Elise sits down bottom. General is level 5 at the moment, so he's a level ahead of Zahi, who just going to try and clear the enemy jungle, I should say. General sits down bottom. Going to sit in the brush and try and get a sneaky cocoon. Squidgy just going to pretend he's MC Hammer's subordinate. Going to do some more arm flicks and wait for someone to come into
The
that
lock and
bush.
pop. It's the lock and pop.
Oh, you've got it. Well, he finds someone indeed. Rosie, nice heroic charge, keeps him alive. There's a Jhin trap, which slows everything down. But Zero, he doesn't have enough damage to compete with General. They just trade some autos. General sits down here waiting for another cocoon, but he's not going to find it.
No, he's blowing a lot of resources there as well. It's given a chance for Gragas to actually run around the map and get some farms, so he might be able to come back and actually surprise them as well. He's making his way towards that bottom side of the jungle, and wow, you've also got Gators going for it as well. They're after Ari.
I think they're going to go and sit on Ari here. Omni, what does he have? He doesn't have much. He goes for the charm, he flashes out, but the Cocoon finds him, and there's going to be another kill. Actually goes to General as well. Squidgy down bottom, not going to find his target. However, Zero is in there with a good chance. And again, this Elise. My God, this is such a different game.
They're doing it so well now. That was a very proactive rotational game that they managed to make there. I really love how they just also sent Gigators as well. He wasn't even necessarily needed, but they actually left behind those good old healing posts that he have there to sort of give Squidgy what he needs to get away the moment Chiefs Blacks realized, hey, they sent Gigators up there as well. So they're just thinking up these new plans and strategies, and they're really taking advantage of it. And this is what they need to do. They need to keep Chiefs Black off tilt, because we found that when they're actually the ones that are 3k behind, they actually struggle.
Look at the engage down bot again. However, Squidgy looks like he can turn it around. The Thunderlord's proc goes on, and the Ignite on Rosie. Is the Ignite going to be enough to tick? It does. Gigators picks up a second kill of the game. And this bot lane, Abyss Red, my God, this is crazy. Even Luch has a Dark Seal.
Well, that's actually good for him to pick up as well, because it gives him just that, if he does manage to scale later towards the game, and he's going to have a lot of help as well coming through from Elise. So General's going to be coming across. If he actually manages to get rolling, that's going to be big, because he's going to be so much stronger towards the late game than Omni.
Omni going to try and find Elise. A good ward spots him out, but Luch actually does quite a lot of burst damage. Where is the Cocoon? I think we've missed it. Omni gets bullied out of lane again, and this Cassidon suddenly just gets so much freedom.
This is something you don't want. Cassidon should be struggling at the moment. He's actually basically got a free level 6, which is going to be fantastic for Abyss Red. And now that that's that point, if he's managing to keep Omni on a back foot, she can't roam. She can't take advantage of it. As soon as he gets his Rod of Ages, he's going to be the one that's roaming. And believe me, with that Rift Walk, he can get around the map when he needs to.
And what good pickup from Luch. He goes for the cleanse, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, and he has used it very well. That charm not going to do anything to him in this early game. Zero just going to continue farming down bottom. Wow, look at the damage on Squidgy. Poppy does a lot.
Percentage-based damage. She doesn't need items to do a good job. If she manages to land a Poppy, well, but Brayden, he's in trouble.
I think he's okay, though. The lunge gets him out this time. And look at this Elise's map. She's everywhere. General. This is how we saw him play in the semis.
This is how he should be playing the whole way through it. He's doing amazingly at the moment. And I think Cassidon just did a little bit more pushing away from Omni. That poor girl's getting trouble. They get Gators getting jumped on.
Support battle down bottom. Nothing going to happen with it. Rosie continues to get a bit of CS. Boots of Swiftness for this support who's chasing down and hunting all of his prey so far. You see Zero with a BF sword. We're moving into our first item, folks. But Squidgy, couple of items ahead there. A couple of long swords on top. I feel like he's looking for that extra damage, looking for that ricochet just to do a little bit more.
Squidgy's not on top. He's got a completed Caulfield Warhammer on Jin. He's ahead.
Now he's ahead, now that I can see. Thank you very much, Mendrix. There's a curtain call. Wow, looks like they're committing to this fight on Squidgy. The final crit shot, nice flash from Squidgy. However, that is a flash down for the Sivir.
Yeah, there's a teleport coming in as well from Echo, so they're going to keep on this fight.
Wow, okay, so Pabu's in as well. There's the flash. The parallel convergence goes on. A shield is going to be enough. Nice ultimate from Echo. Now that's just a 1-for-0 trade. And because Pabu is so on top of life, as there is the Bard ultimate as well. Where is the Cocoon? We're waiting for it. Riftwalk comes in, and all the members of Abyss Red are just crushing Chiefs Black down here. There's 5 members of Abyss Red. They're going to get the first turret of the game. And this is how they should be playing.
Oh, this is amazing what they're doing. They're leaving Squidgy alone to bait them out. Then they're using the magical journey from Bard to bring the players across. They're using great map awareness from Pabu as well. From that very last clutch ultimate, managing to get him out of danger at the last second was huge. It gave them the tower dive. It gave them the bottom turret. They were also getting the dragon as well. And nothing else has been traded around the map for Chiefs Black. This is their weakness that we're talking about. They seem to struggle when they're not ahead, because for some reason they just don't stop the bleeding. Now it's going to be interesting to see if Chiefs Black can actually turn this around. Abyss Red, thank you. We've got a series.
That's right. We may have a series here, folks. Abyss Red 2K in the lead. 2-6 is the count for now, and 1 turret ahead. Even the dragon gets picked up in the end. And look at this trade-off in the middle. Luch ahead of CS. It doesn't matter that Squidgy is fallen behind a little bit down bottom. He has the assist, and now he's on par with items. May not be with gold. However, They both yet to build that first item down there.
They're actually on par on items.
But maybe not gold. I said gold, Mendrix. You got to listen to me.
You said they're on par on gold, but not items. But they are on par on items.
Oh, look here. God, you can't do this to me. I'm young. So innocent as well. And
That's
there's
okay.
Rift Herald. There's Rift Herald as well. The objective control from Abyss Red continues to astound
It's
me.
a different team. They've swapped roles. Abyss Red are the ones that are ahead this time, and they're the ones controlling the map. And it's fantastic to see. I'm really enjoying the game at the moment. I just want to see a series. I am being a little bit biased here, I must admit.
There's no bias here, ladies and gents. We see the Sunfire Cape almost finished for Pabu. He's got the Bammy Cinder. He's got the Chain Vest. He's so close. Tiamat for Praedyth and that farm battle up top. Definitely going to go to the Fiora when you think about how easy it is to farm. Squidgy, for some reason, doesn't block that.
I'm really interested. I really like the Echo against Fiora, because the big thing is the moment she decides to throw down her Grand Challenge, well, he can just turn back time. So I'm going to be interested to see how that works out in 1v1s between the two of them.
I feel like the Grand Challenge would stay on Echo.
I feel like it too, but I actually haven't seen that interaction. So I want to see if it actually just complete reverses everything.
I'd love it if you could reverse time and, like, let's say Unstoppable Force comes onto Echo from Malphite. So Malphite ultimate, he reverses time 3 seconds before. Now he gets Malphite ulted again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If everything was
If
literal.
only it was like the cinematic and he was about mattering seconds. Because imagine him trying to turn back time and every single time it's just him getting hit. It's like quick save, bang, quick save. It'd be an interesting watch.
But that is not the case. As down bottom again, Rosie looks like he will be engaging on this one. Gagators takes so much damage. There is the Bard ultimate, but the Ignite goes off. They're actually going to pick up Rosie, and Gagators survives. What?
I don't understand that. There was a really clutch heal at the very end by Squidgy to keep him alive. That was fantastic what he'd done there. He managed to land the ultimate that stopped Zero from getting any further damage off. At that point in time, he was too far away from Rosie. Rosie couldn't chase that. He had to go for the closest target, which was Squidgy. But Squidgy, he's got damage now. He's got the exact same level of items coming across. So he's going to be trading just as hard as Zero. And they come out on top.
And on top, Abyss Red are. Another turret goes down. However, this time Chiefs Black pick up that one. And nice charm from Omni. He's going to trade off with Luch. However, Luch still ahead in CS. He's got that 120. He's got the Rod of Ages, and the Dark Steel still remains in his inventory.
And it's quite a high possibility that's going to be transformed into a Magi's, because he's got 2 assists, he's doing well. It would be efficient for him to buy into it now. Maybe have to sell it later if he dies, but let's face it, it's hard to kill Cassidy in general, jumping onto Praedyth.
Repel finds Praedyth. There's a Cocoon. Actually misses by a high margin. General going to back out of this lane. Pabu going to continue to farm.
I really like how he saved his riposte as well to the very end for when he saw the animation of the Cocoon coming out, because if that had landed, it would have meant that he was just stunned, but it was a miss and the guys just walk away from there. At least though, he's still chasing after him, see if he can catch him from behind the tower. And the TP's going down to protect objectives. So Abyss Red at the moment want to make sure they can't give anything back to Chiefs Black. But that's a really bad place to be in, Pabu. That's 3 people there.
Wow, I don't actually think he cares. There's parallel convergence. The ultimate is up for Mr. Echo. Will he use it, though? He's actually doing everything on Rosie. Praedyth is there as well. The Grand Challenge comes through. Pabu picks up Rosie. What a nice play. Pabu uses the flash. However, he is out. Luch is there. Not sure what he wanted to achieve by that. However, Luch going to go down and make it a 1-for-1 trade.
And now might be an idea to sell the Dark Seal as well. There was a lot of map pressure being traded across there. Wow, that was amazing ulti.
The ultimate comes through. There's a flash from Gagators to stun the Cocoon. She can't even get out. And Gagators, you're a... What?
We were talking about this in Champion Select. That's exactly the way the composition should be played. You've got this long-range ultimate being shot out by Gagators. It lands, it catches someone out, and out of the blue, you have a team just rushing to you with On the Hunt in their eyes, in their blood, in their stream, and they just take you out.
And suddenly, Abyss Red, the mid turret goes down. They're still 1 ahead of their enemy. 3K in the lead. And the kills are just proving a different story. When we don't see a lane swap, we see Abyss Red aggressive all over the map. They have control of this game. We're moving into mid-game, and all of their carries have got their first items here. You see an Echo that's already towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. Runic Echo's definitely well completed for General. He's on to his next one there. Look at Luch. I mean, honestly, he does go down. He loses the Dark Steel stacks, but he is well onto his next item. We see a Rod of Ages coming through, and in
It's
competition.
stacking.
That's right, it is stacking. Omni does have the Abyssal Scepter to try and neglect some of that damage, but Luch at this stage, he's not going to be targeting Omni.
No, he definitely won't be targeting Omni, but once he gets to a high enough point in the game where he's going to have so much damage, that Assassin ability, it doesn't matter who he targets at that point. Right now, he's just going to be sitting back, chilling, farming away. That's what he's going to go for, but he's still got the damage on the squishies. My Zero is down to half.
Man, he has no escapes. You got to think that Jin is very scary to play if you're versing a Kassadin, because suddenly your immobile AD carry, he can't output the damage, and he gets Doven on without any hard CC.
He's very scary to go on against a Bard. The moment you try to put your Curtain Call on, he's just going to be throwing his ultimate out to stop you in your plays. So it's just really good composition that Abyss Red have. It seems to be countering across the but they're jumping on a Squidgy!
On the Hunt has already been popped. The charm goes through, but Squidgy again, the flash. There's the explosive cast. Nice mana shield from Squidgy. The heal as well. The Bard ultimate doesn't get anyone. However, Abyss Red safe for another day, but the top turret, that's going to go down.
Yeah, they blew a lot there. They will manage to get an objective off the back of it. They managed to get Squidgy!
The flash from Omni proves to be enough for Squidgy. 4 members strong now. Kagators, is he out of place? I think so. The barrel going to finish him off, and Poppy picks that one up. But it's just not the right positioning for Abyss Red, and suddenly Chiefs Black get a bit of leeway.
Yeah, they managed to get themselves some breathing room. Abyss Red had so much pressure there, and they had set that up perfectly. They went through, put a lot of resources up there. They said, this is going to be our tower. You have to back off and try to trade somewhere else if you're going to leave Kassadin in the mid lane, if you're going to leave your Echo there. Abyss Red, for some reason, tried to walk back in after they had blown all the defensive cooldowns. And they pay the price for it. They don't. Not only do they lose the tower, they lose 2 champions.
And Rift Herald again, the opportunity for Abyss Red. Gold lead not as much as it was before. However, Abyss Red still have that little edge on the game. Second Dragon is up, so opportunity for Chiefs Black to sort of even the playing field. Rift Herald is going to go down though, so General makes that decision on his own as Chiefs Black move towards that pit.
And now we're just sort of this period in time where these guys are relaxing for a little bit, but the Dragon's here. Abyss Red, they're not really going to contest it. They want to look towards it, but they don't have the ward pressure there. They don't want to get themselves caught in the middle of the jungle there, because they'd be caught in a really bad situation, and they don't want to be hit with a curtain call there.
Well, okay, so Cocoon goes on, and Rosie, remember that he's a support Poppy, so he's going to take half his health. General does have the Baron buff, or should I say the Rift Herald little mini Baron buff. He's going to go back, he's going to move to a lane and hopefully help push some of this out, or even just get some bonus stats in his own jungle, which at the moment, if you look at the wards near blue buff, there is actually some fantastic warding coming from Chiefs Black.
Yeah, they definitely have the wards where they needed to be. See how it's positioned around that dragon area? Okay, we've got the wards here. Beautiful. This is that point. This is our line in the sand. We know you don't have anything here. It's our dragon. And Abyss Red intelligently don't want to cross that line. They go, okay, no worries. We need to slowly push our way through to get into it. We should give up this dragon because they've got control there. There's not much they can do about it. Otherwise, they could risk giving away this lead that they've fought so hard to make sure they could have the entire game. But Fiora is getting roached upon.
They're moving all the way up to Fiora. There's the Cocoon. Grand challenges on General. Maybe Praetor's going to try and take out the Elise with him. But the flash comes over. There's the lunge over the wall. Spooky Ghost just going to leave wanting.
And now they're just going to back away from the situation. Flash blown for Fiora. That's something she needs to worry about. Probably a return trip for the General Luch being jumped on.
But Rosie really can't do anything here. Nice Rift Walk and a good dodge from the Jhin. Omni not going to find him either, so they're all going to back off. And Chiefs Black continuing to look for an opportunity in this mid-game to put them back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and they're playing it very well. They know exactly that they've got the strength in that bottom side with all the wards they've got going for. They've actually managed to put a 2-on-1 against Kassadin again. They want to make sure he can't farm.
Luch is down here, but it's a little bit risky at this stage of the game. Omni going to continue farming up in the mid lane, and he's actually onto his second item, whereas we see Luch, he's fallen a little bit behind. However, the item cost from Omni a little bit lower than we see coming from Luch. He's gone for the Blasting Wand. My guess next, Mendrix. Oh, here we go. You can test me. I'm going to be seeing something like... Oh, I'd love to see him roll a Nomicon. No, he's not going to die. Rift Walk's going to keep him all right. Next item for Luch.
Next item for Luch? Well, you said Morel of Nomicon, but he's already had it for a while.
What, Luch?
You're talking about Luch? Oh, wait, sorry. Next item for Luch. I'm sorry. We're looking at Omni. Okay, so next item for Luch. What is he going to be going for? So he's got the Blasting Wand. I feel it's going to be an Abyssal Scepter.
I mean, there's so much that you can build into that, but I guess I'm really wondering about prioritization against Omni, who is now coming into the mid game, gonna be doing a lot of damage, gonna be the huge damage dealer from Chiefs Black. Not to mention Zero. He is 0 for 2. However, those 5 assists and that little CS advantage, that's gonna give him a little bit of leeway.
He has just picked up as well the needlessly large rod, so that suggests he's probably building towards a Rylai Scepter. So now that he's managed to reveal a bit more of his build components there, I think I might be going towards the Rylais on the side for Luch.
On Luch. Well, we're going to have to wait out because that is a very fantastic pickup for Luch. I will agree that Rylai's on a Kassadin. I mean, that is the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, he's got a lot of movement around there as well. 2v2, gonna happen?
Not going to happen this time. This mid game is very shaky for both sides, with one dragon being composed by both of these sides, and turrets are actually neck and neck now. We're waiting for the team again. We're waiting for this mid game. We're waiting for the deciding team fight or pick that really initiates some form of objective control from either of these sides. Again, Chiefs Black were the ones to find it in the first 2 games, and that's what set the tone. The team that really drove the mid game is the team that won. So Abyss Red are going to have to step up and find the pick that they need.
And they're definitely setting themselves up to find that pick. They've got wards all around that Baron pit. It's been up for 2 minutes now, and immediately they're getting control. Luch has now hit that point in the game when he's going, I could probably comfortably 1v1 most people on your team. Fiora, Grand Duelist, might have something else to say about that, so it'll be interesting to see, but I doubt he'll be able to catch a Kassadin if he decides to flee away. So, good place to have him. He doesn't have the teleport, though, which is going to be a problem for them. So, as you can see, they're going to send Pabu down there now as well. They're going to go, okay, strategically speaking, we should have Pabu down there. That's the intelligent choice. But now it's going to be about that Baron. It's about this dance of wards being taken here, left, right, and center. But Dragon's also up in a minute and a half, and the ward advantage seems to be on Chiefs Black there at the moment. They've got a few pinks down that end of the map.
But it does look like Abyss Red are sort of in the position. Their general is going up to the top side of his jungle, which I guess you do have a minute 15 to sort of decide what you're going to do about this objective. Remember that there has always been the sneaky sort of, you can get Dragon, but if we're fast enough, we're doing the damage or the DPS, we can always do a sneaky Baron. Although at this point in time, probably not the best option. It has been done in the OCS before.
Exactly there. Ooh, that's a very nice cocoon, just threading the needle on the side of Omni. And it's an option available to them if they manage to put all the resources to go for that Dragon. And Abyss Red will happily trade a Dragon for a Baron at this point, because it's only the second Dragon. All it gives you is a little bit of extra power against the turrets. And compare that to the fact that you've got stats across the board for your team, and on top of that, empowered minions. It's an amazing trade. But these guys, too much of a risk. They're going to move themselves towards that Dragon area, make sure that these guys are not going to be taking anything that they don't need to give away, really. Abyss Red are the guys that are in control. They're the ones with more gold. They're the ones with a little bit more map pressure on the side.
Chiefs Black are sitting in the bush here, waiting for someone like Gigators. They do find him. Everyone goes in. Zahi with a body slam combo. Not going to find anyone. General still has that cocoon waiting and ready. The 3-0-3 Elise with Rylais. I mean, that's someone you've got to fear in these fights. One lockdown, and that's going to be it. With all the CC from Abyss Red, it's crazy. And on the hunt, Mendrix, I'm not sure if they're going to really go for this, though. Wow! Omni goes on Squidgy. Misplay. And suddenly the curtain call comes out as well. Gigators is the target, but nice CC from Echo. A double kill goes on to Omni, who gets a perfect charm. Elise is in there as well, but General, he can't really do much in terms of saving Pabu. Nice cocoon, that actually might get him out, but Praetor is in front of him. Not really good for Abyss Red. And Chiefs Black even out the game, and suddenly their map is now their map.
Chiefs Black, they showed us that they can bring it back when they need to. There was a bit of miscommunication on the side of Abyss Red. That ultimate blown by Squidgy was too early, and Omni just pulled the trigger and blew him up using that Ignite, using that Flash, using his charm to kill him at that point in time. Just gave everything Chiefs Black needed to get back into the game and more. They've managed to crack the base.
And I mean, this is just turned upside down for Abyss Red. That's not what they wanted coming into the mid-game. Suddenly, either Chiefs Black get the Dragon, they forfeit it, or they go for some more objective control, because at the moment, Abyss Red are in a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, Chiefs Black need to back away now. They don't want to give away any gold that they just picked up in that situation. They will be trading the Dragon for that lack of map pressure, but they're going to be coming back so much stronger for it. They're going to have freshly bought items on their side, and that means that now that they're up, ooh, it's going to be hard for Abyss Red because we all know when Chiefs Blacks get ahead, they stay ahead.
That's right. So Abyss Red still now actually they've fallen behind. There's still a kill ahead, but it's not going to make any difference with the gold. Turrets now in favor of Chiefs Black and the Dragons. Abyss Red just picked that one up there. Nice cocoon from Zero. Looks like they're going in here, Mendrix. Really nice Bard ultimate as well. A lot of Chiefs Black are zoned out here. Zero goes down by Pabu. Zahi has to body slam over the wall. However, here comes the leap from Echo. He goes onto Omni. Omni goes in with a bit too far on the Spirit Rush. Poppy Hammer zones out everyone now. It's just Pabu in the fight. He gets the shutdown and he's back into the fight. Squidgy with a nice heal as well. Zahi, is he going to go down? The slow is on Zahi. Wait for Echo. Is he going to find the leap strike? No, he doesn't. They find Rosie. Miss the cocoon. Echo's Time Winder not going to find anyone. Repel as well. And Luch is already there. He didn't have to do much in that fight. But Abyss Red, this is going up and down. They've just taken back part of their map.
They've got a massive ebb and flow happening on this side of their that they've got going between these two teams now. We talked about miscommunication being the downfall for the Abyss Red previously. This is them when they communicate, when they land everything that they need to do, their strategy they want to go for. And now they're just going to get away, trade everything they need to back. But Pabu, not Pabu, Pradev, he's still there. He's still moving around the map. He had map pressure that entire time.
Rosie just tried to engage there, and as you saw, nice magical journey coming from Bard. Chiefs Black, they're going to try and get a couple, some deep wards come through.
That's a very possible Baron they can go for.
That is a possible Baron. It looks like they started up. Rest of Abyss Red are going to be there, but look how low they are. General is not really in any position to get in this pit. However, we have seen done more for less. 5k on the Baron now. We're waiting for it. There's the Bard ultimate. Does that keep Chief Black off? No, it doesn't. Teleport comes through as well. Rosie goes in on General. There's the CC. We're looking for the repel, but it doesn't actually reach. Where's the smite? Chiefs Black get the Baron. Pabu, he's going to have to get over the wall or do something as Squidgy picks out Rosie. Nice ultimate from Pabu. He uses the cleanse. He's still alive, but he goes back in. And there goes Omni. And there goes Luch as well. Why did he go back in?
I think he accidentally clicked and the auto attack forced him to blink right back into him. But that was amazingly done by Chiefs Blacks. They saw the opportunity. They knew Abyss Red had to back off of that. They had sort of given what they needed back into it. Pradev had given enough pressure to force Pabu back early, and that opened up the map for the Baron for them. But then, what was amazingly done there, because they thought they could actually get the steal. General was still low. Rosie jumps around the side, locks him down, forces that repel, and makes it impossible for him to get onto it. And that's how they managed to pick up the Baron nice and free.
And the repel was a good one indeed as Praetor walks down the middle lane. General is going to die here. There's the healing power. And by getting out of position at that crucial time, Chiefs Black get the inhib. And with the Baron buff, what are you going to do here?
Well, you have to sit back and let them take it. You need to sit back and let them get what they want. This is going to be a very big Baron power play. But Abyss Red are not out of it. They can actually wait out this Baron and fight again. But there goes an amazing ultimate.
Bard zones off two people. Zero is so squishy. He has no mobility, but he's just not dying there. As Squidgy's now the new target for Omni, he's going to get taken down. Both 80 carries go down in this fight. However, it's a 3-for-1, and Abyss Red don't have anyone left. Omni takes out Squidgy. Pabu's looking to distract them. But at this stage, Chief Black's just nowhere to go. And Abyss Red, their base is crumbling before them.
I was talking about letting them have what they want, what they can take, defend, wait out this Baron. Abyss Red thought they had an opportunity to get themselves back in and stop the bleeding immediately. They ended up paying for it there, losing now 2 inhibitors off the back of it. Rosie, though, jumping onto Pabu.
Ultimate forced out of Pabu, so they get nothing from that. In fact, they waste a little bit more. I'm not sure what the objective was, but with a Poppy who's so in tune, you just can't go in these fights willy-nilly.
Well, that's what was happening there. They land an ultimate. It was an amazing ultimate, mind you, managing to lock down 2 players, but there was still a willy-nilly engage. They didn't have the team ready in position for when that ultimate was shot off, and because of that, now they've lost so much more. This game now is on the side of Chiefs Black. They've got 2 inhibitors. They've got the Baron still. They've got a Dragon up in a minute 30. With all this map pressure going around, it's going to be an uphill battle for Abyss Red.
And an uphill battle is what it's looking like at the moment. We're well past the 30-minute mark, and Chiefs Black now lead this mid to late game stage. Turrets are well in their favor. Dragons, however, are not. So a very, very, very late win condition for Abyss Red if they choose to make the 5th Dragon their opportunity. However, in this stage, I don't know if they can possibly wait that long.
It's going to be hard. They had the win conditions for that super late game with their previous team compositions. But Chiefs Black, they're the ones with the advantage this time. They've got the late game Fiora. They've got the late game Jin. In terms of what you have on the side of Abyss Red, they've got Luch. Not too much that you can really pull across from that, considering Echo's build being full tanky. But there's another team fight.
Looks like Abyss Red are collapsing on Praetor, who gets forced with a flash. Pabu going after him. However, Luch is onto Rosie. Now Luch loses that grand challenge. Nothing going to happen of it. Omni backing off. Nothing happens, but look, it's just getting intense. As I say that, the parallel convergence on Rosie. There's the CC down for Chiefs Black, and now Abyss Red are going in. They're looking for someone to find, but 3 members of Chiefs Black are backing off. They pick up Luch, but is he going to die from the grand challenge? Someone needs to block that as he Zhonya's. He's waiting for it. He gets it, and Praetor is back in. He's walked past the turrets again. Who let him unchecked? Who left Praetor walk through the base? I mean, at the moment, Abyss Red, they're just trying to waste time because this fight's not going too well. Pabu has no mana. Zero, look at him spin his gun. Look at the movement speed. It's killing me. It's killing me. No, go back. There we go. Okay, so Pabu taken out by Zero, and there's not many members left of Abyss Red to defend this base.
And they thought they had their opportunity to get in there the moment they took down Rosie, but Chiefs Black managed to turn it around. That was messy across the board there. Chiefs Black knew exactly they needed to kite back, wait for the right opportunity, and take Abyss Red one by one. We have the stronger composition even without our support. And these guys just seem to turn team fights around whenever they need to, even when the chips look down for them. And now with this pressure everywhere, Abyss Red, they've got gold coming into their base thanks to those super minions. But the problem is Chiefs Black are just starving them out of everything else. Another dragon going their way.
And I mean, that's going to slow things a hell of a lot down for Abyss Red. However, I didn't think they had that win condition in their pocket anyway. Gold lead is definitely in Chiefs Black favor, and I just keep looking at these scores, and it looks tight. However, Chiefs Black have more control. These fights look like they're going wrong. But Abyss Red, they just overstay their welcome, and Chiefs Black capitalize on that so well. Look at Gators. He's going to have to Magical Journey out of this one. He gets the stun. He has to force the ultimate, and a good ultimate it is. Now the rest of Abyss Red. Oh my god. This actually looks pretty promising as the explosive cast comes through. Grand challenge is on Luch. Is he going to find the damage to finish it off? Squidgy gets forced out the red buff, almost finishing him off. Pabu's on the back foot of this one. Zero's the one who gets CC. They're trying to pick him off. General is well into this fight. There's the repel. Pabu finds a Time Wonder, but it's not going to do much damage as his ultimate doesn't bring him too far back. And General almost picks off Zero. However, for now, it's just going to be a 1-for-0 trade.
Wow, that was amazing there. He really baited out the situation, buying a lot of time for Abyss Red. Gagator's showing us what he can do with Bard when it's positioned well, helping to give them back something on the scoreboard. Chiefs Black, though, they are so strong at the moment. All that did, like I said, was buy them time. But this is very precious for them. Those inhibitors are coming back up. The Baron is up in the next 50 seconds. There's always that possibility they can catch him out. They've got the team composition to do it. If they can land their ultimates perfectly, you have got the amazing wombo combo being set up. Because if you manage to land it on 3 champions, you pretty much have a free parallel convergence on top of that. That's a stun into a whole team running into your face. So I really want to see if they can pull off this miracle composition they put together.
He's so huge at this point in time. He finds Gagator's explosive cast goes on. Yeah, that's disgusting damage coming through. Praetor gets stunned, but I don't think Pabu really wants to focus on Praetor. And another good stun from Jin locks him down. General going to try and slow this fight up, but Praetor is just a menace. Nice cocoon from General, but the inhib goes down once again, and Abyss Red just trying to hold on to this game.
Oh, Praetor is a monster. He just went through. There was nothing he could do. They found Luch!
Oh my god! He walks into a charm, and this is Abyss Red just not holding on to this base. Ult comes from Pabu again, but Zahi's in with a body slam. Rosie just trying to CC, and he's doing very well. The repel, is it going to keep him alive? Yes, it is. But how's it going for the base?
The base at the moment is in tatters. Another inhib goes down, and it seems to be deja vu. Chiefs Blacks have come back, collected their inhibitor attacks, and they're getting out of there. And now that the inhibitor attacks have been taken, they're going to get themselves a free Baron off the back of that as well. They're going to probably back away with it, wait for the pressure to build up, and then they're going to take it. Abyss Red, if they strike early, they might be able to steal it away.
And Abyss Red is very good at pressuring those Barons. However, he's got to make sure his positioning is well away from Rosie, who CC'd him to high hell. You saw last Baron. General moving towards that Baron pit, but Zahi's waiting for him. Mendrix This is not what they want. Oh, the explosive cast goes in. Pabu, he's been CC'd. Good ultimate comes out. He uses the leap to dodge, but they're aiming for Squidgy here. Curtain Call's going to pick up some members, but is it going to slow down General? No, it's not. And Abyss Red, jeez, this is
tough.
An intense
It's
final
so
game.
tough. Abyss Red, with that engaged by Pabu, they thought they actually managed to catch him out there, which was it was the case. They think, okay, because they're there on that brush. If we throw the parallel convergence in, we're locking down 2 champions. It's going to be great. Well, Zahi, he manages to use his body slam to knock him just out of the parallel convergence. No stun for you there, friend. And now they've got so much control of the Baron because of it.
Rosie sitting around that pit again. I mean, General's not actually going to see this one coming. Bard is there, however, he goes for Squidgy. Rosie's very far out. He flashes over the wall. Praedyth is there as well. His lunge can just reach over those small places. Chiefs Black disengaged. There's the Bard ultimate. He's not going to find anyone.
They're moving towards Praedyth now. He seems to be a little bit out of place, but he's got Rosie as support. That riposte. Just so well placed.
That's
He's
right.
7-0-3 at the moment. Praedyth just seems to be so good on Fiora. I'm not sure why they keep giving Chiefs Black Fiora for Praedyth. They were banning it out the game before. I thought they handled this. It's a case of Corki again.
That's
you know?
right.
We're like, okay, we can't really handle the Corki. Okay, do we want to deal with Fiora or Corki? That was the choice that Chiefs Black laid out for them, and this is what they're dealing with at the moment.
And look, Praedyth, look, he knows there's 4 members of Abyss Red there. Do you think he cares? No, of course he doesn't care. He's 7 for 0. Black Cleaver, and he's got the Titanic Hydra. I mean, you look at his items, he's well towards his Bloodthirster. He's getting sandwiched in again.
Oh,
wow.
beautiful.
There you go. No one...
He just times it well.
He doesn't care.
He just times everything so well, and they're trying to get that Baron sneakily away.
Rosie again, CCing on the back of this. Nice Bard ultimate.
He's knocked him away.
However, there is again Rosie's participation in the back of that pit as they engage off this. The grand challenge is there. I think Squidgy's going ham, cheese, and tomato as he finally gets shut down. 1 kill off the bat of this Baron. That's what they can ask for. Pabu is still on 0, who is getting CC'd. He forces the ultimate out. However, that's the CC they needed. Abyss Red, are they going in parallel convergence again? Jin going to twirl his gun. Is he out of position? He was a little bit. And Zero forced to use his flash as Chiefs Black back with the Baron buff.
So it wasn't a free Baron. Good Gators, though. What are you doing, buddy?
What is the man doing? We ask ourselves questions every day. Chiefs Black 1 for 1. They tie it up. And it's mistakes like these with these huge death timers at the moment that you've got to wonder why are these decisions being made.
Yeah, I thought he was going to try to be a little bit cheeky there, see if he can actually stop some backs, cops a charm, and gets killed for it. And, you know, he is not the highest level. He will be back fairly quickly in comparison to the rest of his team, so it's not the biggest deal. He still have some pressure on the map. But at the end of the day, look at the amount of pressure Chiefs Blacks have. They are more than willing to give up Praedyth's perfect score to get that Baron. Praedyth may not be too pleased about it, but the Baron is definitely #worth.
I mean, honestly, at the moment, Praedyth's got to be feeling very large as the next Dragon comes up. 39 minutes in, we're moving into the late game, and Chiefs Black still well ahead. 2 Dragons all, but it's soon to be 3 for Chiefs Black unless General can try and contest this. But at this point in time, with the long death timers, you definitely do not want to waste an opportunity. There's the 3rd Dragon, there's the movement speed, and Zahi with that, what is it, 6% movement speed bonus?
Yeah, it's a 3% movement speed bonus coming across with them.
It's still crazy.
It's good to have. It's really good to have. But the big thing that Abyss Red still have on their side, they've been keeping up with gold. They're only 4k gold behind, besides what looks like it seems to be Chiefs Black's dominance across from this. That means that their composition still has the ability to kill them if they make a mistake. Chiefs Black, if they make one misstep, can actually still lose this game.
Chiefs Black sitting there. Pabu. Hendrix, I think they're going to go for this one as there's the Poppy Hammer. Sends out a couple of people. Look at Pabu. You thought he was tanky, but no, he's not. Here's the curtain call. Luch tries to rift walk away from this, but Praedyth again. He's free in the base. There is the grand challenge. The heal goes off and Luch gets ignited. Oh, the magical journey has to get forced out as a cocoon misses there. Zahi tanking a lot of the turret, but does not care. He's just so tanky. Again, mid and bottom inhibitor is going to go down, but I think this time with a massive minion wave, it's going to be a little bit more.
Oh, this is seems to be the final nail in the coffin coming down for Abyss Red. Chiefs Black have finally found their opportunity to go in there. Look at the damage happening. General, he's been hit.
Rosie against the wall. That's never where you want to be. Zero picks up that kill. And Chiefs Black, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. They're looking to hit the Nexus, and they do it. 3-0 whitewash against Abyss Red, and they have won the OCS Grand Final.
And they're doing it in amazing fashion. They are
Style.
3-0. Oh, amazing
Style.
style.
See me?
Swag. They got the
Right.
swag going. Those guys there, amazing what they had there. They were actually behind. We talked about them saying when they're behind, probably going to be a chance that they're going to lose. And that's what happened the one game that they dropped this series. They were behind, and instantly everything seemed to fall apart. They pull it back. They find the advantages they need throughout that entire game, and they managed to take it from that point on, get themselves back in the lead, and easily not drop it from them. They played that amazingly. I mentioned Abyss Red towards the end still had the capability to come back, but they had to do it off the mistake. They were trying to be proactive. They were all trying to make sure they could see what they could make from that situation, but from there on, it wasn't the right spot to go in. They needed to wait for someone to misstep. That was their opportunity to get back in. They jumped the gun. Chiefs Black take the win.
And I mean, still Abyss Red played a fantastic game. You saw in the early game, it looked like
they had control.
They had major control. And in comparison to the first two we saw tonight, it was a vast improvement. However, Chiefs Black, just the better team with more experience, with professional players that think about every single move they make. Sure, they made some mistakes in the early game, and you'd think, well, look, that's not what Chiefs Black are about. You know, that's not what we've been seeing in the tournament. But look, in the end, it doesn't matter. They do the exact same thing. They capitalize on every single mistake. And Abyss Red, they just couldn't keep up with it.
They were keeping up, and then out of the blue, Chiefs Black showed them exactly how to do it.
Keeping up is
It's not enough.
sustaining for 40 minutes or so, we saw. And yeah, they were holding, but keeping up, they were still at that disadvantage.
They had their advantages, but Chiefs Black just stopped it. They were like, okay, cool, no worries. You've got these small little advantages. Chiefs Black knew to just take it back. And when they had done that, Abyss Red was sort of stuck in this, like, okay, what do? We need to find an opportunity. Out of that, forcing that, they made the mistake. Chiefs Black, like you said, capitalized, and they just capitalized it on again and again and again until it was their game to have. That's all they needed to do.
That's right. And I mean, look, we've seen an awesome split coming through, ladies and gents. We've seen some teams come through that we've never seen before, and then we've seen a couple of sister teams as well. And it is the latter where we see Chiefs Black pulling out the win for the OCS Grand Final. Abyss Red, fantastic. I was so impressed.
They played well. Those guys are still going to be in the promotional tournament. These guys are by no means out of it.
That's right.
This could be one of those cases where, sure, Chiefs Black, you may have won the battle, but there's still a war to be fought, and there's going to be more league to be played on it.
And I mean, wars are dangerous. Wars are dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of blood spilt in those games. And we've got to give an MVP because I said so. Because I believe that someone really deserves the MVP for all those games. And you may not agree with the first couple of two. However, he was still a big impact. But especially that last game, Praetus gets the MVP for the grand final for me. Because he did so much in games 1, 2, and 3. Especially 3, but what we didn't see in game 1 and 2 was the fact that his impact in team fights, his positioning, his map awareness, his echo, for Christ's sake, was fantastic.
No, absolutely right, and I actually agree with it, not only because it's just from this grand final, because it sort of just characterizes his entire series, throughout, like all his matches throughout the entire series. What he's brought to it is the consistency. He pretty much never loses lane. He will always be there doing the right things, and if he's not, guess what? He's probably carrying that game.
That's right.
And it was literally one of those cases where the first 2 games, he was there, he did his job, he was consistent, he knew exactly where he needed to be, and he was giving all the advantages Chiefs Black needed to win. And then towards the very end there, he had them on his shoulders towards that, and he was so huge. The players couldn't deal with him. They had to give up a Baron to just kill him. That was what Abyss Red was trading. And it's amazing without that.
And I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us on our ride here, but it doesn't end. If you need more League of Legends fixes, if you some kind of junkie that needs to play the game, such as myself, you definitely got to go check out the Open Ladder, where you can see below there on your screen some more information at the website as well. The Open Ladder, a great place to start off. And of course, that's where the teams came from. The Open Ladder, you got to go check it out. You got to make your team and make it or break it.
Oh, you definitely do have to make it and break it. And as well, coming up.
He quoted me.
If there's still more to come from that, you still have the OPL final
That's
as
right.
well to come across. That is actually going to be happening on, I believe it is this Tuesday as well, guys. So you got so much ahead of you as well. OCS may be over, but there's still more to come.
Ladies and gents, you've got to go check out the OPL Grand Final. A great place, a great medium. League of Legends in Australia has never been more proud. My name is Jake Asterix Ozipenko. With you is Nathan Mendrix Mendez. I want to thank Rogie and Preacher and all our production team for the OCS. It's bye, but only for now.
Where we can dream again. I'll tell you all my secrets. We're encouraged like a second skin. The kids are all dying. We're dying to believe again. Run through the open streets. We take what is needed. They say you're only young ones, but we live for it, we die for it, we live for it forever. They say you're only young ones, but we live for it, we live for it, we live for it forever. We can dream all night till the sun rises. They say you're only young ones, but we live for it, we die for it, we live for it forever. I'll meet you at the airport. You know that we can touch the sky. Dancing in the aisles. We're skating on clouds of fire. The kids are all dying. We're dying to believe again. Run through the open streets. We take what is needed. Open up the skies, see the heavens clearer. I could change your mind. We know where we came from. Set our hearts on fire. The dreamers are all here. We could change your mind. They say you're only young ones, but we live for it, we die for it, we live for it forever. They say you're only young ones, but we live for it, we live for it, we live for it forever. We can dream all night.
now it's just like, man, you got to have that time where you just like disconnect from the scene, just the race. Like, and it's a race that I've created in my head, you know? But you have to step away from it